What's going on? It's Dog Art Man Boxing, and I'm back with another boxing conversation. Today is Wednesday. No. Today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. And we're talking boxing. There's a specific topic I want to talk about today. I know you guys seen the title. It's the Black American style versus the Mexican style. One of my favorite type of matchups in boxing. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have a fight that's coming up that continue that legacy, that fight, that two styles of the best fighters in the planet, Mexican versus Black American, ready to match up April 30th. It's going to be amazing. So let's talk about the history of that style, those two style matchups. Let me drop the link for my guys. Give me one moment here to send this real quick. Yeah, man, I just had an interesting conversation today. It's like people get offended when I talk about Mexicans or whatever, about their fighting style or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I still consider the second best fighters on the planet. But you know who I'm rolling with as number one? America, of course. And some dudes get insecure, and some dudes be like, yeah, you know what? You guys had great fights, great victories. We had great victories. You know what I'm saying? Let the best man win. And I like that shit. For real. We'll bring up Meldrick Taylor and Chavez, and they be like, okay, we'll look at Canelo and Danny Jacobs. And I'm like, all right, okay. That's how we go. That's how we're supposed to do it. Let's keep it going.
What up? What up?
What's going on, Crod?
Not much. I just had a good interview with Abraham Nova.
Oh, yeah?
Just now. Yep.
That's the dude who had the blonde hair, right?
Yeah, with the blonde beard.
With the mascot?
Yep.
What weight class he's in?
He fights at 126.
126?
Yeah.
And where's he? Is he Cuban?
No, he's a Dominican, but he was born in Puerto Rico.
Got it. But today we're talking about the Mexican style versus the American style. Before I went on live, I just rewatched a lot of fights. Meldrick Taylor versus Chavez Sr. And I just watched Chavez Sr. versus Sweet Pea Whitaker. And one thing I can say, man, I'm impressed by both of those fights, man. They had some really good fights in the early 90s, yo. Really good fights. Fights before I was born that was lit.
See, the thing about Mexican fighters at that time frame was that a lot of them didn't really step up the competition until the fans obviously demanded it. And I kind of feel like they're not really compared to today's Mexicans, they're not game bred like that anymore. But the only fighters out of that era roster that actually were doing very well and actually wanted to fight the best level opposition would probably be guys like Salvador Sanchez, Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, Ricardo Vargas, right? And who's that other guy? He's that Lopez guy, right? But that's about it. Today's Mexicans are very cowardice and they don't have any, fighting spirit. That's just true.
And you know what? Even though those are strong words, there's some Mexicans that agree with what you just said. Because I've heard that before. I've heard them say things like, we like Canelo and all, but let's be real, man. He hasn't had that Chavez, Meldrick Taylor type of fight, man, where we're on the edge of our seats. I mean, he had that with Triple G, but yeah, who the fuck is Triple G? You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. He's supposed to be fighting guys in the country, America. You're supposed to be fighting Black Americans and showing the world that your country are fucking full of killers, ready to go down. But I don't know, man. It seems like everybody, they're The real quiet like. But shout out to my guy D Hive and the brother Julius.
What's going on, y'all? I saw that. I saw that crowd with the Abraham Nova interview. This man is the plug over here, apparently.
Right. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Pretty much like me and him talk with each other. Like I text him every now and then, but every time when he's available, I just hit him up. So
Damn, this man got future world champion connections and shit. Y'all better show some respect. Fuck around, have your favorite fighter on.
Right. Hold on.
No. Yeah.
I could be famous. Who knows?
Oh, that's what I'm saying, man. This man could be an industry insider. Y'all niggas talking shit. Y'all don't even know.
And the good thing is, Nova Chess, fought. So he freshened people's minds, you know what I'm saying?
Crowd, drop the interview in the chat.
Oh, okay.
It just happened. Can you get the link that fast? It literally just ended like 2 minutes ago.
Yep.
Yeah, man. But also, man, about what you were saying about Triple G, we also got to take into account that the man came in the first fight juice for a reason. Yeah, he had the juice for Triple G.
Yeah,
that's true. You know what I'm saying? It's very true, and it makes me think. Do y'all suspect Chavez Senior of juicing?
No, I don't think that Chavez Senior, juiced when he was fighting Whitaker and all them guys. I think the difference, and he was saying about the Mexican fighters and of the yesteryear and today, the difference. I think that those guys were so skilled, man, that they were confident in fighting anybody. You got to think Chavez Senior was one of the rare fighters that could come forward and still had good defense. You see what I'm saying?
Good enough defense.
Good enough defense to sustain him in a firefight. He had good head movement, and you got to think he was a great fighter at 30, 35, and 40. He did good work at all three of them weight classes, fighting all top black fighters at 30, 35, and 40. He fought all top black fighters in 3 different weight classes. Because at that particular time, it was hard to, duck around all the top black fighters that was around there.
Because your own fans will call you out for it.
They would call you out, yes. Now, it wasn't no social media, but they will call you out in different ways, man. They will hold you accountable for not fighting Mildred Taylor or not fighting Pernell Whitaker or not fighting all the different black fighters, Roger Mayweather, all them guys. But that's the difference between yesteryear and today is the technical skill, the technical fighting.
They would stop showing up to your fights after a while. They'd be like, "Oh, who is this you fighting? Oh, I ain't gonna go because you fighting."
But here goes something else.
Booty.
Here goes something else, and I want y'all to check the box rec, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Chavez, James Toney, even Roy Jones, all the great fighters back then would fight 3 and 4 times or 5 times a year. It wasn't all great fights. Like Chavez, I remember one time before he took a top fight, he fought a guy named Verdell Smith with 80 losses. But who cares, because he just fought a top fighter a month and a half before that. And then 2 months after beating a journeyman, he fought another top fighter. So that was the difference, man. If you fight in 5 and 6 times a year and 4 times, or you fight top level fighters, those other 2 fights are basically like a sparring session. Like Chavez fought on pay-per-view or fought on Showtime, and in between that, I'm gonna bring up an old network that they used to have fights on: Telemundo, Televista. And he would have a crap fight on one of them networks, and then go back to fighting top level fighters.
They still got Telemundo.
Yeah, I'm just saying. They still showing fights though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so.
So you watched Mildred Taylor and Sweet Pea live, correct?
Yeah.
So my first time watching Mildred Taylor full, And I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he did the wrong thing fighting Chavez Senior. He fought his style.
Mm-hmm.
He took
You talking about
he
the
no, not
first or the
his style,
second
but
fight?
he fought his fight basically. Like
Mm-hmm.
he went in there and tried to slug it out with him, trying to knock him out, even though you can tell he don't got crazy power. But from what I was
Mm-hmm.
watching, it's like, dude, you're obviously faster than this guy. You
Yeah.
obviously have more skills than this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you trying to go blow for blow with him? And he's fucking dropping hella low and tapping your stomach. I'm like, yo,
The style of Mildred Taylor was to fight right in front of you, hit you with 5 or 6, 7 shots, and get out of there, and you land your 1 or 2. He was just a brawler. He was like a faster version of Timothy Bradley. He was a faster version of Timothy Bradley
I
that
can see
threw
that.
more combinations. But that's who he was. Their defense was along the same. I don't care who you are, man. If you stand right in front of a guy and you throw in combinations, you're gonna get hit. And these guys wasn't afraid to get hit. But I mean, I'll tell you another fight for you to watch of Mildred Taylor is when he fought Buddy McGirt. You know what I'm saying? That was also a good fight.
Yeah.
I'll put that
He
But
in my
knocked
books.
he knocked McGirt out, didn't he?
yes, he did. And that's something that shocked you because he wasn't a puncher and he went up the welterweight and did that. I mean, this guy fought Terry Norris weighing 149 pounds for the junior middleweight title.
Yeah, Terry Norris broke his ass off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
But
that
it
was
just
terrible.
shows you that he wasn't afraid to take a challenge, and it wasn't about no weight. He didn't tell Mildred Taylor, "Well, Mildred, you got to come in at 150, and we can do this catch weight fight." He was like, "No, I'm gonna go up." Now Terry Norris decided to weigh in at 52, because he wanted to be lighter, knowing he was fighting a lighter fighter. But you know,
Man, that nigga Buddy McGirt got a big ass head.
he do got a big head, right? Yes, he
God
do.
damn. I'm looking at this
God
shit
damn,
like,
that's so
God
evil to
damn.
say.
Yeah, Buddy McGirt. No, Buddy McGirt,
Man,
and he had a lump in it.
a
He
lump.
had a lump,
You
and it
lump
was
it.
he's
long. It was a
he's still
long
training
head.
Kovalev.
Yes, he is.
Oh my god. I don't know for what. I don't know what comeback tour they're getting ready to put on.
Kovalev is
Yeah,
still being trained
he
though.
claimed
And
he
you know,
he
you know
fighting
one
that
thing I
cruiserweight.
noticed, Julius?
Yeah,
Because I don't just watch the old school fight. I like to go see what they're talking about around that time, like the media.
right. Uh-huh.
Man, you could tell the media played a really big part in boxing back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they still do now, but we got social media. But back in the day, man, they talking about which rider, where he's from, which
Mm-hmm.
organizations he's from,
Right.
and what's his, what he thinks about the fight. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm just like, dude, I can see how they had boxing on lock hard back then
Mm-hmm.
because they
And
controlled the media.
and also you had a lot more super world title fights on regular TV. And like that matters, man. Like for example, when Earl Spence fought on NBC after the Olympics, that's one of the most watched of this particular era. When he fought, was it Bondu? And he blew Bondu out on NBC and knocked him out. Like that buzz that Earl Spence got from that, man. I think they got to do more of that, man. I know people say, "Oh, the good old days." It ain't
I
about being
mean, but
good
let's
old
be
days.
real. Let's
I
be
want to
real.
see more people.
PBC and ESPN and Top Rank do show free fights.
Yeah, but
They
I'm
do
not
show free
talking.
fights.
ESPN is one thing, but bro, it's just a different feel to put a afternoon NBC or a CBS fight. Think about it. The CBS when who was that? Keith Thurman fought Danny Garcia. That was a bigger rating fight than anything ESPN has done, man. It's just something about putting a fight on CBS in prime time or
Yo,
NBC.
Julius, I heard you a little bit earlier. I agree with you that back in the day, like Travis fought a lot of. He also fought Camacho with Farrell. What was that dude? Rosario, he fought Laporte, and then Telemundo used to show, but now they don't show good fights. They're like low quality, like I don't know. They're not like the good fights that they used to show. But I agree. I think it is true that the media did play a big back then. It was just like you said. It's just the big fights did get made, because Chavez also fought. He fought Apache Martinez. He fought Jose Ramirez, that lightweight that had like almost 100 fights, and he was on a roll.
Yeah, and that's why when I forgot the dude was talking about how many good Mexican fighters. Man, it was so many Mexican
Barrera,
warriors
Morales,
out there, man.
Jesus
Like,
Chavez. Remember
it's a guy.
the one that went to
It's a guy named Jose Luis Lopez, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy. He's so good.
I mean, and he was like a basic, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no kind of name, but he could punch. That's the best one punch Mexican fighter I've ever seen in my life. One punch. Jose Luis Lopez.
Did you see when Barrera fought McKinney? What did you think of Barrera? Because I was kind of like, I don't know. I like Barrera's skills better than Barrera, but not watching his fights. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. He did got.
You know what Barrera showed you? Barrera showed you that, and Eric Morales, they showed you that they weren't afraid to fight, you know what I'm saying, top fighters. And they also show you they were technically good enough to not just beat them, but knock them out.
Jesus Chavez was good. The one that fought Mayweather gave him a good ass. Jesus Chavez, remember him?
I mean, Chavez knocked out stopped so many great fighters, man. I mean, that's another thing. Like a lot of fights now, they go to a 12-round decision, whether it's unanimous or split. You know, it was more knockouts then. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm gonna keep it 100. I know people like to say there's a lot of controversy over that Mildred Taylor stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think it was that controversial. You know
why? Why do you say that?
The reason why is because you can clearly see that he was fucked up. Maybe the ref could have been like, I'm gonna let it go because it's 3 seconds. But I'm thinking, what if the ref didn't know? You think the ref knew that it was 3 seconds left?
He knew it was under 10 because right where Mildred Taylor was knocked down at, the red light comes on. The red light only came on at that particular time when you was under 10 seconds. Also, why Mildred Taylor got stopped in that fight wasn't because how bad Mildred looked. It was because when he was talking to him,
he wasn't paying. It looked like he wasn't really paying attention
because his trainer, who really wasn't his trainer, he was like Mildred, Purnell, and all those guys fought for main events at the time. Okay.
Yeah, which is top rank.
No. Kathy Duva husband. Okay. And so Kathy Duva husband who died, and that's how she got main events because her husband, died.
I thought top rank wasn't it main bouts or is it main events?
No, main events was Kathy Duva's husband. Okay. He ran main events. He ended up died of cancer. So his brother, who was Lou Duva was in the corner. His father, Lou Duva, was in the corner, like he was in the corner for all those fighters that main events.
So, okay, I got it confused.
Holyfield,
top rank. They used to be. They're called main bout. They're a main bout.
Right. But I'm talking about main events, and they used to call them the main events monitor, but it was main events today. With Kathy Duva, it was her husband at the time, and like I said, man, those guys were, he was standing up in the corner and he distracted his fighter, and all he had to do was stay still and let Mildred answer him and say, yes, I'm okay. The fight would have ended. Chavez wouldn't even have been able to throw another punch. That's how close it was to the fight being over.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he didn't answer him though. If you watch the documentary, he asked him and he didn't answer him. He didn't say anything. He just looked at him and his face is fucked up.
He looked away from him and he wasn't paying attention because Lou Duva was there talking to him in the corner.
Oh, then they rematched again, right? Like when they got to meet again.
And when they rematch, Chavez beat him. But let me say this, man. Mildred Taylor has been a shot fighter. He was a shot fighter during that fight, right around that time. You know, Mildred had been in so many hard fights. So by the time that rematch happened, you know, the
Oh
one thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
people forget, that's look, and this is how great the guy was. You know, he won another world title as a shot fighter. After Chavez trashed him in the second fight, he still won another title.
Yeah.
Man, but you know who else was supposed to fight Chavez but didn't want to? Remember Ray Mancini?
Uh Ray
Oh, Ray
Mancini.
Yeah,
Mancini.
he was supposed
Ray.
to
Yeah.
fight Chavez. He was supposed to fight Chavez, but that's where Chavez fought Hogan. He was supposed to fight Ray Mancini, and but he got Greg Hogan. But there was a lot of fighters that didn't want to fight
And,
Chavez.
and,
That's why.
Mancini would
look,
have
let
got
me
his
tell you,
bitch
his
ass
leg
whooped. That's why he didn't fight him.
Well, no, this was
is
when he was undefeated because he got Camacho, he got Greg, and Ray Mancini was next. So then that's where he had to move up to, Belter, and he was so
But
small for. But he was, yeah, a lot of fighters did duck him, bro. That's why a lot of he would have had
well,
a
well,
better
hold on.
record.
Mancini.
Before we get into all that
Yeah.
though, one thing I wanted to add, bringing up the Mildred Taylor fight and watching the Sweet Pea fight.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Pea did the right thing. He fought him the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that style of boxing will always be the kryptonite to the Mexican style of boxing, which is to hit, get out the way, slip punches, do what you got to do, style and profile
Well, Mildred couldn't
him.
move
Mildred
like
was trying
Sweet
to
Pea.
fight him in the inside, trading body shots, and I'm like, yo, this guy obviously is fucking
But but
got
let,
fucking bricks in his jaw.
hey, but let me say this too, though, Art man. It's many ways to crack that egg, and let me tell you, even though you're 100% right that Mildred could have made it easier on himself, he I seen Chavez get beat in three different styles. The one style that you're talking about, which was what Sweet Pea did to him, in and out, hitting him with body shots, jabbing, frustrating. Then Mildred Taylor was right in his face, you know what I'm saying? Just beating him with speed on the inside, trading punches, landing 3 to Chavez 1. And also, you got to understand the other style that beat him is when people forget because we talk about Floyd Mayweather 50-0, right?
Yeah,
So a lot of people forget that Chavez had made it to 89-0. Okay,
yep,
and he fought the you know what I'm saying, Frank, and he got beat 89-0. Frankie Randall beat him, and he beat him with a style of jab, straight right hand, and that beat him. The jab and straight right hand beat Chavez. So I seen Chavez lose in 3 different ways before he got to Oscar De La Hoya. And I'm glad that you asked that question today about how old Chavez was when he lost to Oscar. He was
yeah.
31
Because
or 32.
I told him,
He was not no old man.
I said, hold on, wait.
And Oscar
Is
was
this because
24.
hold on, let me bring everybody up
That's
to
But
speed
but
about what you
yo,
said
but
right
Julius,
there.
you gotta bring up all the wars he was already
Ho-
in when he got to the Oscar Delia didn't get him like when he
Hold on.
was.
Before we get into that, I got to bring up everybody to speed. So just in case my listeners don't know what we're talking about. Earlier today, some dude tried to tell me because I made a post about David Benavidez. I said, man, I feel like a lot of Canelo fans don't want Canelo to pass the torch to David Benavidez right now. And somebody was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Canelo's still in his prime. He's only 30 something. And I'm like, well, how old do you think Chavez was when he fought motherfucking Oscar De La Hoya and passed the torch over to him? And he
But
was just like,
but
oh,
Chavez had like
that's
90
beyond the
some
fact
fights.
he was washed at that age.
Yeah, he was washed, bro. Like he already had 90. Like after like 95,
At
he was already
33,
done. Bro, he had 80. Bro, Benavidez doesn't even have 30 fights. He had like 90 some fights. I asked Julius, he's seen him fight alive. How many wars was he in, Julius? How many? Like he doesn't even have he has like better resume than have actually probably the best resume right now in boxing. Like all the active fighters, he was already in wars, so he was already like washed out. He
so
was
what does
already
that
like
say about Canelo?
well, Canelo isn't washed, bro. Canelo still has a couple years. I mean, it's gonna happen. Like he's not gonna like he's gonna end up fighting Benavidez, but I think he's waiting for like the profile to like go like so Benavidez gets well known because you gotta understand Benavidez needs a big victory. Is the Durrell a big victory? People don't even know who
Okay,
that is,
well,
bro.
you can't go down that road because
well known.
No, I'm being serious because
yeah,
I'm
you
telling you
can't
the
go
first
down that
fight.
road because plenty of people that he fought don't have a signature win at all. So don't do
Right,
that.
But
Don't
you
do
gotta
that.
understand that Smith, Billy
right.
Joe Sanders has a whole country behind him though. They got the
No, he
UK.
But
doesn't.
no, they
Yes, they do.
don't. Not
Caleb
at
Smith,
all.
yeah, they do. The UK,
Not
they
at
came in
all.
trouble. Yes, they did. They
Yeah.
were at the
He
fight. So
just from another country.
Yeah, they
you
don't
gotta
have
Doesn't
understand.
mean he
a
doesn't.
You
country
talking
behind
about
them,
them
bro.
20 people who was
Right.
scared to do anything because they was gonna get their ass whooped by security?
Yeah, if I pull up the numbers, but for Callum Smith, all his previous championship bouts, I guarantee you they're trash because no one cared.
So none of the UK guys supported Billy Joe Sanders. None of them paid for that. Okay, like I
And
said, so they don't got
I'm
fans
not
for
saying
like
that.
that.
We're just saying that they're not even popular where they're from. They're not big. They're
right.
No,
not big
that's not.
names where they're
No,
from. Like look at
no,
Josh
I beg
Taylor.
different.
Josh Taylor is the single most accomplished UK fighter in the world, and no one gives a shit about Josh Taylor.
But
So
that's Josh Taylor
it's
though.
like,
But they care about Billy Joe Sanders and Smith. That's not the fact that they're claiming they're riding with him to be better beef and to be Bill. So I'm saying there must be known if they have fans that are claiming those claims. But they do have fans
Man,
already, bro.
you know,
They
you
don't
can
even.
Polo,
root for
Polo, you know,
someone,
now that
but
we
again,
speaking
no
on these,
one. The UK people don't really support their fights like that.
hold
Yeah,
on
they
one
do,
second.
bro.
Now,
Yeah,
now that
But
we're
yeah, they
speaking
don't
on these
support
great
their
Mexican
fighters
fights,
like
yeah,
that.
they do,
Polo,
bro. They do.
how do
Look
you
at
how do you
They don't.
feel? How do you feel
yeah,
about
they do, bro.
Canelo? Hold on one second. Hold on one second,
They
y'all.
do, bro. I'm not gonna.
Hold on. Polo. Now that we're talking about these great Mexican fights, how do you feel that about Canelo not, having his signature fights like that? We listed Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor. Those are amazing, legendary fights. What are Canelo's two legendary fights like that
Well,
against
I'm
two
gonna
different
say like,
people?
okay, I'll guess this one, the Triple G fight because he was the number one guy in the division and the Miguel Cotto. But I'm gonna ask you something
Okay, what
since
about in the last
like
5 years?
okay, I'm gonna say yeah, you're right. But here's the thing though, what fight do you think he should fight to give him that legacy? I'm asking you as a fan. Is it because you want to see Canelo, or do you like why
Yeah,
would Benavidez be that
because look,
signature move? But listen, you gotta ask me
okay, let me answer
what
your
has been
question.
like if he fights Benavidez and beats him, how is that a legendary win? Because say that Benavidez looks good at
Because
168,
it will
right?
be
And then he
his, it
goes
will
and
be it will be what I would think that fight is like to me. It's like Chavez versus Oscar. Not saying that,
nah, bro,
not
you
saying
already
that
know who I'm gonna
David
guy.
Benavidez is as big
But
as
Bro,
Oscar,
you
but
can't say that because
but
if
I'm
we look at
saying as
Canelo's
I'm
resume,
just saying as I'm just
no,
saying
but
as
I'm
a
just
younger
saying.
Mexican
Okay. I understand
challenging
where you're coming from,
challenging
but
look, the young Mexican American challenging the great Mexican from Mexico. Isn't that
here's the
just
thing
like how the
though.
Chavez
Yeah,
Senior and the Oscar fight was?
but
You
I'm
know what
asking
I
you.
would
I
compare
do
that
want to see,
to?
but here's the thing though. How come we always see David Benavidez, but we don't see other like Mexican fighters in the mix that are they might like suit. I never hear him, but it's always Benavidez. Why don't
I
people
mean,
throw
because
to?
Zuro, he not really doing nothing to be popping like that. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Like he's
but
not
bro, it's
splashing
not.
out here like
I mean, but
Jesse
like I
Hart
said,
yeah,
bro,
speed,
Polo.
but
Even you have said that people don't know Zurdo that much. Even you have said
no,
that.
because like I said, no, he's starting to get a fan base. But I'm saying, I'm telling you, I pick him to be Benavidez, and I think that him and better be for the ones that'll give. You guys can laugh and say all this, but I'm saying when it happens, you'll be like, damn, he was because like you said, it's not his fault. There was a lot of fighters that didn't want to fight him at 168 as well either, and that wasn't necessarily his fault. That was Bob Behrman's fault as well. But I'm saying I know what you're coming from. I do want to see the fight, but say he beats him and then Benavidez goes to 175 and he doesn't do shit in 175. He looks like like D have said, he doesn't. So will that still be a good win for Canelo? Like, say he fights him, like, say next year,
100%.
and
The
then
entire point of making fights like that is because, excuse me, the entire point of making fights like that is when we're actually not sure what the outcome is going to be. Sure, you can say Canelo's going to wash dude because I've seen Canelo do this and that. Okay, that's great. But the general consensus with the public is that that's a 50-50 fight, which is why people
but
keep
I have a
asking
question
for it.
though.
And
Was
the
the
difficult,
plan?
well, hold on, let me finish. And the difficult part of that is you keep saying that what has he accomplished, what has he done, and it's like, bro, do you realize that if we just go back a few fights in Canelo's resume, we can ask that question about a fuckload of people.
I
Yeah, but
know,
here's the
and y'all
thing
gonna be
though.
saying that shit till the man retired, then y'all be looking back like, well, we like Canelo, but ain't no way he was like Chavez Senior.
Yeah,
No,
like
and I agree that, but
all the
like I said,
people that Canelo diehard fan, that non Canelo diehard fans want to see Canelo actually fight. His diehard fans say, "What have they done?" But motherfuckers like James Kirkland, Angulo, Fielding, Smith, Yildirim can do absolutely nothing but exist and get the fight. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. So if he like, I mean, that's what I'm asking. So what fight? So the plan fight wasn't a 50-50 fight to you guys because I said I heard a lot of people that would come on this stream and other streams that say, "Oh, Plan's the wrong guy." I'm telling you, he has footwork. So that's not a 50-50. I understand if Kellen Smith and Billy Joe wasn't because I remember clear before Billy Joe was fighting, a lot of people were picking Billy Joe to beat Canelo. AJ said the narrative can't change
At
because he beats them
160.
all. No,
At
at 160,
160, people.
at 160, at
No,
160,
nobody
but
picked
he fought him.
BGS to beat fucking Canelo at 168.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Bro, but
Did
at
you see the
160,
betting odds? The betting odds were trash. The
bro, I'm
betting
not saying
odds
the
were
betting. I'm talking
garbage.
about the fans, the people. But here's the thing, though. He could have fought Billy Joe Sanders after Triple G, but Billy Joe Sanders, was supposed to fight Booba, and we already know what happened. And he went up, and he was supposed to fight Surdo. But that's funny how he waited for Surdo to vacate the title. He didn't want the title when Surdo was there. He said, "Okay, let me wait until this guy vacates." You could look back in the interviews. Frank Brown was like, "Oh, we're gonna tell him, man." There's rumors saying that he got paid off to drop the title because he doesn't want to fight. And let's be honest. You think Billy Joe would have beat Surdo?
No, probably not. But I think the same thing of Canelo at 154 with Andre. The same situation happened,
Okay,
which
I
is why he
respect that.
fought
I
Liam
respect that.
Smith.
No, I respect that. I respect his opinions, but I'm saying he could have fought Billy Joe Sanders at 160. But you said he went for Triple G. Then Billy Joe Sanders left the division, and he went for Daniel Jacobs. So I'm saying I understand and I respect what you're saying on your opinion, but like I said I do want to see the Benavidez fight. It is going to happen eventually. I just know what he's doing. He's trying to make it into a big pay-per-view fight. But I'm saying he's trying to get these guys at least to Benavidez get a victory. But I understand where you're coming from. I do want to see a fight. I do want to see him
Well,
fight
I never
Canelo.
cared about him fighting Billy Joe Saunders. I never really gave a shit. I'm saying that British fans gave Billy Joe the best opportunity at 160. I didn't give a fuck if he fought Billy Joe Saunders or not because I don't even like Billy Joe Saunders like that. So
Nah,
I
I fuck
couldn't
with
I
him.
couldn't have
I
cared
fuck
less about that stupid ass fight. He just had a belt, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah,
the way, bro.
I was gonna say, man, Benavidez and Canelo fight reminds me more of instead of the Oscar and Chavez, it reminds me of Juan Diaz against
Versus,
Marquez, something
thank
along
you,
those lines.
thank you.
But
That's what
but
that's,
but but I will say this though, as far as when we was talking about the Chavez, and a lot of people are saying that Chavez was shot and this and that, but I do know that Chavez had won a world title and he had beat an undefeated fighter, David Kamau, before he fought Oscar De La Hoya. So he wasn't completely done, but
but it was in a
Oscar did.
was it
But
a
let me say this:
140
I'm
or
not saying he
147?
was at his best. He wasn't at his best, but Oscar did Chavez the way that young fighters are supposed to do veterans. Like, for example, Gary Antoine Russell, about to fight Victor Postal, right? Now, Victor
Yeah,
Postal last fight, Victor Postal to me beat Jose Ramirez. They robbed it. Okay. So now he's a veteran. He fighting Antoine. Gary Antoine is supposed to blow him out. He's supposed to beat him up and get him out of there.
and that
Because
exhibit
that's
too.
what
You gotta add how many years has he been? He was away from the ring for a whole year. That's gonna play a big factor as well.
Nah,
Gary
Yeah, you're
you're
right.
making
Antoine ain't fought in
excuses.
a year.
No, he
Gary
hasn't.
Antoine ain't
He
fought
just
in a
fought.
year.
He just fought in May. He just fought in May though, and Victor Postal
In
hasn't
May,
fought since August of May of this year. Not this like last year, 2021.
That,
So that's
how
not a
many
full
months ago
calendar.
is that? How
Bro,
many
I'm just
months
saying.
is that?
didn't Poster fight last April?
Victor Postal fought
No,
in what? The end of
April.
in August.
20, early 21?
August of No, he fought in August 2020 against Jeremy. He hasn't fought ever since.
And Gary A. Russell fought how many times last year?
Gary
May he
Antoine
fought
Russell only
in
fought
May
once. He
against
fought once in May against Santiago, that dude that Broner fought, and then
Right,
Postal, yeah, and he knocked his ass out. And then Postal fought Jose Ramirez last August.
right. So
not
either
this
way, they
August, like
both
the
coming
year.
off long layoffs. This ain't like Gary A. Russell fought 3 times last year and he coming in so sharp. He
It
hasn't
don't
fought
matter.
that much.
Postal is 38, and it doesn't
Look,
matter. It doesn't matter how often he fights. He gonna get his ass whooped.
absolutely.
He
And
getting fed
that's
to
what I'm saying.
Antoine.
I don't
Is
know about
Antoine
that.
only fought
I don't know
one
about
time
that.
in 20 and one time in 21?
Oh shit! Crowd think Postal getting ready to do something with Antoine.
No. Like I'm just trolling.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck is Postal gonna do?
But I
No,
mean, like,
Victor Postal's gonna do that, like do that little, pity patty jab, and then everyone's gonna say, oh my God, Victor Poso, he's outboxing Gary Antoine Russell.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you right now.
Oh, go ahead.
It's gonna be none of that. Gary Russell's gonna beat the dog shit out of Poso. Y'all gonna see. I'm telling you. You know why? You know why?
Why?
Because history says so.
Can I throw this hat in? Or you don't
Yep, the young lion always kills off with the old lion.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I better not hear any. Oh, Gary Antoine Russell gets hit a lot. We should probably keep him away from the top. Like I can't stand that shit. It just like when they talk about all these people could whoop Devin Haney ass, and I'm like, cool. Can we get him in there with him then? Can we get the fight, man? Like, oh, Devin gets hit a lot. Okay, good. So it shouldn't be a problem getting the fight. Well, I don't know if Devin should be fighting him. It's like, okay, so what the fuck is it? It's just like Boots. I don't know, man. Boots get hit a lot. Okay, we'll have Crawford beat his ass. Oh, well, I don't know about all that. It's like, wait, what?
And my thing is this: when they talk about guys get hit a lot, I haven't seen no one land more than what 30, 40, 50 punches on Boots, if that. I mean, and when
Boots
he got
hardly takes any headshots, and he rolls with a lot of the headshots.
Right, and even so, a lot of guys get hit not because people look at it like, okay, they get hit a lot, but if you fight in front of a guy and you're trying to knock him out, you're gonna get hit flush.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy moving away, look, it's guys that supposedly box and they get hit too much. You know what I'm saying?
And people accuse Devin Haney of having boring fights, but then they say that he gets hit a lot. And I'm like, no, the thing is that Devin Haney really doesn't lose a lot of rounds. Like in his last 2-3 fights, he's only been outlanded for 2 or 3 rounds out of the entire 12. But it's like, oh, his fights are so boring, but then he gets hit a lot. I'm like, so is he getting his ass whooped? Like, it can't be both. Like, the fight can't be boring while motherfuckers is getting hit a lot. Like, it's either or.
Exactly. I agree, man, because hey, look, when he get in a fight where he get hit a lot, then I'm gonna say he get hit a lot. I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I ain't seen it.
Well, the thing about Devin is that it seems like he doesn't respect, his opponent's power enough. So, he's only able to get away with fighting inside the pocket for now. But, like when Devin faces like a really huge power puncher, in which, don't get it twisted, he has faced power punchers like Jorge Linares. That's when Devin's going to switch up his style. And then people are going to say, oh, Devin, he's so boring. He's not going for knockouts, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can't have either you're going to respect the style of being a pure boxer, or, if he fucks around and starts getting knockouts now, you just can't call him boring if he's actually trying to, get somebody out of there.
Let me say this, Cozy. Cozy said, is it true Devin Haney plan B is Gary Antoine? I don't know. Did he say that? Because that would be a surprise to me. I'm not saying that he won't, but it would be a surprise.
I haven't heard Devin comment on that. Bill been doing a lot of talking today, but I don't mean to digress, but what Crowd said is correct. I disagree. He does respect people's powers a lot, and I think he fights very defensively responsible. But a plan B, if Haney did that, honestly, that's a better fight than fucking Kambosos. Despite Kambosos,
definitely.
Despite Kambosos rewarding him,
definitely.
Yeah, despite Kambosos rewarding him with more belts and undisputed and stuff, if he went up and immediately fought Antoine Russell, win or lose, that's respect.
That's
That's
an amazing fucking fight.
That's the gangster shit. Win or lose, that's gangster. Because ain't nobody really trying to see Antoine Russell like that. And Antoine, no. That's why when they asked him, he was like, I don't give a fuck about Boots or Devin Haney. I'll smoke both of them. I don't care. But he won't Devin Haney scalp for talking that shit. So
yeah.
Man. I think Devin's toughest opponents to date, if the fights do get made, is Gary Antoine Russell, Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, maybe, and definitely who's the other guy at 147 if he ever goes there. Who is he? Um,
By the time Devin gets to 147, a lot of the current crowd gonna be moved up or
they
stopped
and
boxing.
retired and
Yeah.
everything.
Devin ain't gonna hit 147 until he probably damn near tank age, if that.
Well, naturally, I think he should be at welterweight right now. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, the guy is probably 154 pounder, to be honest, but I'll give
Devin
him
said he could fight.
47.
Devin said he can fight, at his max weight at like 160 or like 154.
But that's like his walking around weight. Like people keep saying like he's super heavy, like he's some Terminator. It's like no, he said that he's currently not struggling to make 135, but he's only going to fight there one or two more times, just because. But and, 5 pounds is not a major difference, so he won't spend the majority of his career fighting at 140.
I agree.
But like I said, it's a good situation, man. I mean, I don't think he's gonna get Kambosos. So if he want to go up for some Russell smoke right after, hey, I'm with it. Even though that's dangerous, that's a dangerous fight.
I want to see Devin fight Montana Love, and then
man, he gonna
that's cool
beat
too.
the crap out of Montana.
Well, I don't know like about that because Montana Love, though, just simply because Devin, he's a good pure boxer than Montana, but Montana has
I'm a little late. But I got Gary Antoine Russell beating Devin Haney.
What I want to know is, like, people keep talking about Blu-ray, and I respect Blu-ray because I don't know his regimen or what he does, but I understand the Spence knockout situation, even though we got to take into account who he was fighting. I just wonder how much of a difference the training with Blu-ray actually makes when it comes to your knockout percentages and stuff. Like because we know that Spence is like one of the only notables he's trained. So I'm just curious because people talk about Devin gonna train with Blu-ray, I'm like I'm just curious how much difference it's actually gonna make.
Yo,
hey,
speaking of the young bulls training, I ain't gonna lie.
That's the best out of them right there.
Valdez is about to get fucked up, yo.
Oh yeah,
on some real shit, bro. It's gonna be real bad
if they fight.
Nah, you know what he said? He said after sparring yesterday, just staying sharp. We not even in camp yet. We don't fight until April.
Oh shit! So it's already.
It's
damn. Signed. They didn't even announce Valdez.
Nigga,
Valdez didn't announce it.
That lawsuit put some fire in Bob Arum's ass.
Yeah,
they were already talking about it.
Let me
they wasn't.
Hell no, they wasn't talking about it.
Look, so crazy. People say they was already talking about it. We heard it out the old man mouth himself.
He said,
"Hold on. We heard it out the old man mouth." Because I'm saying something. Give me a second. Because we already heard it out the old man's mouth that he said he plans on making Navarrete versus Valdez. We wouldn't be saying that if that was not true, bro. But go ahead.
He straight up said Valdez Cameron didn't want the fight. Straight up.
No, he made up an interview now. Most recently, like before the last, so he said that Eddie asked for the fight. Eddie asked for Shakur Stevenson, so they were already planning on making it, but it hasn't been officially announced because I guess they're still working on some terms. But like I said, Shakur is definitely the favorite, but I'm not counting Valdez out because I've seen surprises. But yeah, Shakur should win.
Oh my god!
But
man,
Arum, Eyes, Valdez, Navarrete, Stevenson, Burchell, winner fight each other.
And in the interview, he even said Valdez.
He said that on ESPN too.
And Polo, you were the one saying it because you said that he wanted to give Valdez the Navarrete fight because Navarrete might leave. Even you said that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then I also said that fight might not actually happen because Navarrete is undisputed. So this must be his last fight with Top Rank, and because I heard that he's going to a different coach. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that fight wasn't most likely gonna happen because, like I told you, he was gonna leave Top Rank. But like you said, bro, if it gets made, we'll see what happens. But like I said, I don't call anybody out. It's a boxing match. Anything could happen.
All right, let me address this though, D-Hive. You was talking about Blu-ray. In my opinion, man, strength and conditioning coach has no bearing on knockouts.
Oh shit!
I be hearing them talk, but I don't think it has no bearing on knockouts. I think it has bearing on endurance. I think it got I think it got bearings on, you know what I'm saying, a person being like stronger to if someone laying on them or pushing people off. But knockouts got something to do with technique. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like it has nothing to do with the strength and condition. Look, Art Man be in the gym, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm pretty sure his trainers tell him it's about your technique. You know what I'm saying? It's about
Yeah.
placing your shots. Not nothing, and I ain't taking nothing away from Blu-ray. But that knockout talk, that's just he just talking, man.
Ooh,
Well, you feel like okay.
damn.
This is what he said. This is what his bio says. Earl Spence Jr., strength and conditioning coach for 11 fights with 11 KOs in a row. Working with him in a world title accomplished.
He
Yeah.
left
Let me
him
say
after
this.
I
the
mean, that
Lamont
is a
Peterson
solid
fight,
pedigree.
remember?
That's solid.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me
No.
ask you this, bro.
Didn't he leave him with
And
Lamont
I ain't
Peterson
trying to be
after
funny.
Lamont?
So if I go by Blu-ray talk, if Blu-ray had been with him for Sean Porter and all these guys, then Errol Spence would have won by knockout against Danny Garcia and all these guys. When Errol Spence is Errol Spence reason for a lot of these knockouts by him blowing up in weight. It has nothing to do with his strength and conditioning as far as, you know what I'm saying? I take that back. It getting in shape is good, but it don't make you have more punching power, is what I'm saying.
Damn,
That's all I'm saying.
a lot of Spence fans, especially because Blu-ray been doing interviews in the LDBC and stuff. So a lot of Spence fans, when they hear that, they're gonna be like, "This man doesn't know what he's talking about."
Okay. Well, hey. Hey, did I tell you what? Then everybody better sign Blu-ray because if he the key for you getting knockouts and technique don't matter anymore, then Blu-ray gonna be training every boxer in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I
Just
didn't
point blank.
I didn't want to say anything because like I'll just keep it like this. I heard him talking on a few interviews one time, and that right there made me kind of question. I'm like, so does he really have like a secret sauce, or was it just a combination of Errol Spence's youth, him being uninjured, him not being in an accident, and his opponents?
Exactly.
I mean,
Because
look,
everyone's talking.
okay. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm looking at these workouts, and they do look very good. I feel like they
Right.
can help you with your explosiveness and stuff like that. And
Gotcha.
like what Brother Julius said, like getting dupes off of you. It could be a little bit what D Hive said. It could be a combination of Errol Spence's strength and his genes. But I don't know. I just feel like this combination, this workouts that he's doing is pretty solid, dude. I'm
No,
gonna
Oh
keep it
yeah,
100 with you
the
I'm
guys.
not
guy
saying
getting
that
the
he
ring work
has
in, bro.
that he has a bad regimen. I was just simply questioning if that was really the majority factor because they're saying that Blu-ray can help Devin get more knockouts and I think and you know what I think that's going to be the litmus test. If Devin Haney works out with Blu-ray and then starts knocking motherfuckers out, then we'll know that he got the secret.
I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
Yeah, yeah,
I gotta see
exactly.
it.
And then let me say this too: opponents matter.
Yeah, that's what I said. Opposition, like the people he was fighting.
Yeah.
That
And
11 fight run didn't have it has some certifies, but
I
not
mean,
a gang of
yeah, Kell
certifies.
Brook in there.
look at the champ before he was the champ.
Yeah, look at him.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100.
Mhm.
Blu-ray, he man, and then Blu-ray got a similar type of build too. Pause. Where they got real broad shoulders from hitting the fucking the workouts where they hit
Well,
working on dumbbells and shit like that
Blu-ray
and
did time,
pull-ups.
so niggas is just working out up in there. That's why uh,
So
you know.
what do you feel? You feel like he's just teaching them how to just look in shape? What are you
No,
saying?
I think that he
I mean, I
had
feel like
good.
these workouts are doing
Yeah, I
something
think they was.
in the ring.
I think they was good, solid workouts. But let me say this: I seen how James Kirkland worked out. He worked out like a maniac. Same type of regimen, same type of calisthenics, and hitting getting hit with had 5 people hitting him at one time, and I mean, who was more cut than James Kirkland in his prime? But that stuff, man, it
Tim
only gonna
Bradley.
carry you so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm just
like
saying it's only gonna take you so far because eventually you're gonna have to have the skills. And one other reason that Earl Spence got a lot of knockouts is that Earl Spence was the best body puncher, or one of the best body punchers in boxing.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't
Like-
think you can knock a nigga out learning how to do shit like this? I mean, because look, okay.
Also,
I'ma keep
got to
it 100.
think,
I'ma
Art,
keep it
man,
100.
you can overtrain too, bro.
Look,
you can
trust me,
overtrain.
I know, and maybe who ain't no telling how his regimen is.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I've witnessed off of just personal experience, me working out and doing certain type of workouts with my shoulders and lifting weights and shit like that. Not like bench pressing, but just repetition, certain things. And then I will take a break and then go hit the bag or some like a couple days later or a week later. I noticed the difference of me hitting the bag and how easy it is for me to throw a hook. Because I've been working on my shoulders for like the past fucking couple months.
I don't know, man.
But I'm not saying that, yes, if you just go to a good strength conditioner, you can just get knockout power. But I'm not doubting that the man is making the brother stronger by doing certain training regimens.
No, especially if you train the muscles, if you train for what they call in Soviet Russian muscle training, they call it task specific training. That means if you train if you train the muscles that revolve around the task of throwing a punch, I'm sure there'll be some difference as opposed to standard strength and conditioning. I'm just wondering if that's what he's doing and he's following a specific map, then fantastic. But I was just like, I wasn't doubting him. I was just more curious than anything.
Yeah, look, it's not like I'm out here jumping trying to save the man and say, "Oh yeah, his shit worked 100%." Of course, I ain't saying no shit like that.
hey, hire him, bro.
Come on, man.
I ain't saying that type of shit. I'm just saying from what I'm seeing and what I've seen, I feel like when he was working with Errol Spence was looking a certain type of way, man. And it could be a combination of his youth with these regiments, but when he's not working with him, I noticed that there is a difference in his performance. Could it be his opponent selection? I don't know.
Well, I mean, he said Blu-ray said that he trained him for Pacquiao, and so, and unfortunately, the Pacquiao fight didn't happen.
I heard him that he really couldn't work with Errol Spence for the Pacquiao fight.
That's crazy because Blu-ray was literally on a live stream saying that he only trained him for the Pacquiao, and he said he wasn't working with him for the Ugas situation. That's what I heard.
Or I could got him mistaken. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it.
He stopped working with him after the Lamont Peterson fight. After that, he didn't work with him when he fought Mikey Garcia and the dude that he fought beforehand. Then he stopped working with him for a certain time.
Let's go look at the box rec. Let me go see.
Yeah, cause he fought him after he stopped working with them. I heard after when the Lamont Peterson fight was over, he stopped working with them.
You gotta go to his fucking last knockout or whatever. Okay, so his last knockout was his last knockout was Ocampo. So Ocampo minus 11 fights.
1, 2, 3. So what? He started working with him when he fought a guy named No Balanos.
Yeah, from 2014.
He was a decent fighter.
So 4 years of Blu-ray. He's a damn knockout machine at welterweight, and then Blu-ray. I guess maybe they cut the juice off, and now he
cut his water off before the Mikey Garcia fight.
And now niggas are seeing the final bell.
Now they seeing the final bell. And who's seeing the final bell? Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia.
Oh, and those are people that you're not supposed to just run in and knock out. Like you're not supposed to, it's kind of like when Postal knocked out Matisse. That was a big ass deal. People was like, oh shit, because people that's when Postal became like real life certified, because that Lucas Matisse was not some person you just supposed to get in there and like really whoop the ass. Lucas Matisse, you supposed to work for your W. Postal came in there and cooked his ass. People were like, what shit?
And you say my dude Cozy Rito said something where I wholeheartedly agree on. He says, I think it's safe to say it's a combination of strength and condition, skill set, and IQ.
Yeah, 100%. We're not disagreeing. I'm also saying that the opposition factors in as well. Like I said, Sean Porter and Danny Garcia are not dudes you just supposed to knock out. They're dudes that's supposed to work you over some.
And
I mean,
also
you know
too,
who's a good
man.
coach,
Yeah,
strength
go
and
ahead.
conditioning coach? Larry Wade.
Yeah,
But
but
I
here's
feel
the
like he
thing about
trains them more on like endurance, like
well, right.
conditioning and
He's a
stuff.
track and field coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
they could fight for 15 rounds if they had to.
but
Besides, I don't know
but
about playing the Canelo
but
fight,
he
but you
trained
know,
him. But why did Plant gas out?
yeah, that's true.
And
You
I
He
train
needed
love
Plant?
Blu-ray.
and I
He
love
needed
Sean
Blu-ray.
Porter, but oh yeah, hey, but let me say this,
Nah,
He
man.
had
look,
Andre Ward though. He had Andre
He
Ward training
trained
him.
the
Remember?
hell out of Sean Porter
Andre
in
Ward
that
wasn't
Errol
training
Spence
Plant,
fight.
bro.
He was teaching him some skills. Apparently, that was going to be enough to beat Canelo. I remember when they posted Andre, like,
He
shit,
did.
bro,
You talking
stop
about when
it.
they was in the gym together?
Yeah, yeah, they
Canelo
Yeah,
took a picture.
Plant still trained with
The
whatever
white dude.
the white guy,
Yeah,
right?
he was just asking a guy for some tips. No one said, "Oh my God, he's in the same gym as Ward. That means he's gonna beat Canelo." That the only person that had Plant by stoppage was Ward. That's the only person in the world that said Plant gonna knock out
They probably
Canelo.
thought
the only
Ward was in
person in the
there.
world.
They thought Ward was in
Yeah,
there with a
bro.
playbook,
Nah, bro,
fucking
stop.
show,
I seen
point,
hella
looking at
screens.
the projector, talking about some. Yeah,
Man,
you see, this is what you got to do here. You got to do here. You got to do this. You got to do that. Nah, it wasn't like that, dude. They probably took like a what? Had a 40-minute session up in there. Took a couple pictures, and he said deuces.
Exactly. Ward ain't training no damn body. Like people are like, oh, see, he's training with Ward. Ward is his coach. Like, no, that's not that's not how that worked. Like,
Yeah, they was
no,
making it seem like Ward was gonna be in the corner with Plant.
Right.
yeah. Motherfuckers was talking about, oh, Ward needs to fight Canelo next. I'm like, bro, Ward been retired since he was like 34. What the fuck?
And also, Ward took the Lords of London to court because he had a insurance out on
Yeah,
himself, so he can't come back. Not while that lawsuit going out anyway. You know what I'm saying? He trying to collect, saying that he got retired from the ring through injuries.
because that
You know what I'm
injury.
saying? Right. So
Oh,
that'll never happen.
which fight is he claiming it happened in?
In the second,
Kovalev
leading
fight.
up to the second Kovalev fight.
Well, the
But
lead up or the actual second fight?
well, he gonna say the actual fight. But
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't
hey,
want to give
man,
up. I don't want to give up too much game. I'm sorry, Andre.
yeah, but
My bad. Go get your money, player.
but hey, man, I'm gonna tell you this, man. In my opinion, what Earl Spence got to get back to in order to get the knockouts is that Earl gotta, like he trying to do, come into the fight. You know what I'm saying? Already in a in shape, and go back to being that body snatcher that he is, man. Because Ugas is the right fight for him to do something like that, because Ugas get fatigued, and like I say, Manny Pacquiao was almost 45, and man, Ugas looked like he was in a car accident after that fight, man.
And
he
Ugas got a
did.
scrawny body. He does have a scrawny body. He doesn't take body shots well. And
Yo,
like I said,
to be
Abel
honest,
Ramos
Julius,
threw some
if that
hooks
was
and had him
2019,
stumble.
Hold on, what you
Pacquiao
say,
fought,
Polo?
if that was the 2019 Pacquiao, the one that fought Adrian Broner, or the one that fought Keith Thurman, he would have beat Ugas. He would have beat Ugas
Yeah,
easy.
but that's the thing about aging. You know what I'm saying? Aging without being on juice. You know what I'm saying? You age out.
Ooh.
You
Don't tell
age
him
out.
that.
That's what's supposed to happen. Naturally, that's what's supposed to happen to fighters. Like
We
now,
did it,
we
Joe.
so used to,
We
we so used to guys fighting into their late 30s and 40s. That ain't normal, man. That's not normal
And
for
Sugar Ray
fighters to
Leonard,
be.
didn't he retire at like 34?
How
Yeah,
about
he
B
Younger
Hop?
than
What do you
retired.
think
that,
of Bernard
but
Hopkins'
the
age? What do you
second
think
one,
of a
yes.
case like B Hop? What do you think of Bernard Hopkins?
But B Hop wasn't beating people with physical attributes. He wasn't knocking people out. He was outsmarting them. And
And
look
look,
at a B Hop fight. He was so intelligent. Now look, he was in shape, but his body didn't look like no god. He looked like an old man in shape.
yeah, and look at Roy Jones Jr.
And he,
Roy Jones Jr. was fighting into his old age, and he started getting knocked out like he was supposed to, just like B Hop.
Yeah,
Roy Jones Jr. tried that shit with Lebedev, got smoked. He tried that shit
and hold up.
with
Now the Lebedev fight, Roy, you'll go back and watch that. Roy was about to win a 12-round decision. That kind of showed me how great Roy Jones really was. even though he got knocked out in that fight you talking about in the last round, in the last seconds, he had won that fight. He
No,
started
100%.
clowning and got knocked out in the 12th round.
100%. I'm not saying that he was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
with
I got you.
age,
He
with,
did get, he got
with
knocked out.
age, yeah, I was pointing to with age, the defensive lapses. Your head doesn't move as quick. You don't bend at the waist as quick. Your arms don't snap back to your head after a jab as fast. And that's exactly what happened. He threw a jab, tried to pivot. He wasn't quick enough and got hit with some shit he wasn't supposed to. If he was 10 years younger, it wouldn't have happened like that. He just would have won the fight. But
Right.
the little things that they take out of you, and then bloop, it was over.
Like you say, the natural progression of just,
Well,
how athletes supposed to be,
he was natural after a while. He had a
Yeah.
little bit of juice time, and then eventually,
Yeah, he did.
yeah,
But you can tell when the juice time is over. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
It was
speaking of
hard.
juice, man, Art, man, I know this is a boxing show, but I gotta speak out about this, man. So today, David Ortiz got voted into the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
First
Oh
ballot.
yeah.
First ballot.
I said something about it today.
I didn't know. But my man Barry Bonds, probably the greatest baseball player ever. Now look, all them guys was juicing. The 1 year, the first year Barry Bonds juiced, the man almost hit 100 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that, was like Superman getting on steroids. That's why people were like, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? That you can't get on juice, because he would have hit 1,500 home runs if he had been on juice his whole career. It would have been unhuman, man.
And what's interesting though is that I remember, because I was a kid watching the trials, and because Barry Bonds never actually failed the test, but what they did was to tarnish his reputation, they just always had him in court all the time. Every time he had a good game, they would call him up to the board of like baseball integrity, and they would make sure in between his games to put that on the news during the week. So in the lead up, people would have all the fans. They would have all this speculation. They would
perception,
just the perception that he was juicing, because they had him in front of the board in the court all the goddamn time, despite the fact that he had never popped dirty in his career. Meanwhile, a bunch of other dudes over here, like the like with those brothers that popped dirty, I forgot their last name, but those pair of brothers that popped dirty, and half the baseball team that was actually dirty in there, testifying in front of Congress. Those dudes got kind of,
and you talking about what's they name, man? They play with one of them played with the Yankees. I can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, those dudes had to testify in front of Congress. They were so dirty, but they kept trying to make Barry Bonds an equivalent to that, despite never failing a drug test.
Rafael Palmeiro,
a
guy that was a Spanish guy that was from the States that went in there, and all of a sudden they started asking him tough questions. The guy had the nerve and went to school in America from kindergarten up, had the nerve to say he don't speak English. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. These guys was tripping, man. These guys was juicing so bad they was tripping. They started tripping. The guy he literally said in Congress he didn't understand English.
So wait, was this like something that was going on? Like, was this like certain teams where people were just getting like?
Yeah, no, it was just it was
huge.
widespread steroid use. Nothing more than just what happened in like WWF. You know what I'm saying? The early days of MMA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a big deal, because people like Congress started getting involved to see if they needed to create an intersport agency to regulate everything. This was like when USADA and VADA were still kind of new concepts for being widespread as far as policing drug use in sports. And yeah, man, they would have the trials on every week in between the games. They would have the congressional sessions public. Yeah. They would make sure there would be news, all the players' names. It was big shit on. If you was watching ESPN at the time, it was big ass news. And the reason why people always talk about Barry Bonds is because they had him on TV the most often, despite never failing a test.
And you got to understand through our history, man. And I'm about to go there. Perception and race, and how you demean a black man. You got to understand he broke Babe Ruth records. He broke Hank Aaron. So, all these were beloved people. And, it's almost like the legal system now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you talk enough about black men going to jail, and black men will do this, do that. So when people go outside their house and they see a black man, they scared to death. You know what I'm saying? They thinking about, a carjacking or a murder. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you get the perception that you was right, D-Hive. Perception, man, kills a whole lot of stuff, man. Just perception.
That's why the people that vote in on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, they were so comfortable excluding Barry Bonds, thinking there would be no public repercussions, because they figure, oh, well, everybody saw him on the news all the time for drugs, so but it's like, but
Right.
did he test positive though? Well, nah, but he was always in front of the board of integrity for it, and he was always answering for it. Oh, that just makes y'all look stupid. Why was he always
Wait,
answering
so
for
he
some
never
shit?
tested positive?
Never
No.
tested positive.
And see, our man, you didn't even know that. You would think that he tested positive with how often he was on the news, but no, never.
Yeah.
But he admitted, and here's the crazy part: he admitted in privacy. It wasn't supposed to have been given out to the public that he unknowingly took the clear. You know what I'm saying? The name of the drug was the clear, and human growth hormone. That is, trainer gave it to him, and he didn't know what he was taking. He thought it was flaxseed oil. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, everybody still takes HGH now, especially like once everybody does
look,
now.
Tyler Perry got caught having HGH sent to his house.
Well, who can? Well, I mean, why they on Tyler Perry ass? He a fucking actor and producer. Like, who
Hey,
cares?
look,
Like,
Art man, go ahead and Google that. Tyler Perry and HGH.
I remember they got on Stallone's ass about it for having it in the suitcase at the airport. I'm like, bro, Stallone is 75 years old. How you think he still got muscles? Like, what the hell you think?
Exactly.
Like, what you think?
He's a juicer.
Like what you think he be doing for these damn Expendable 13 movies? Like, he got a juice.
Or, man, like I said before, also like your man Vince McMahon.
Oh, hell
it's
yeah.
a video out of Vince McMahon, you know what I'm saying, almost bench pressing about 300 pounds, man. I'm like, wow.
Oh, damn. They saying a lot of these celebrities take performance.
Yeah.
As a joke.
Of course. Like Tom Hardy for Bane, he admitted in the interview he did it kind of he did it kind of slick, but
You know what? I was just watching the movie Blade, the third one, with my chick. You seen the third one?
Yeah, Triple H was in that motherfucker.
I said, look, I know this nigga Triple H is on that shit.
Oh,
of course.
doubt.
He's like the owner of the WWE now under Vince McMahon because he banging his daughter. He got to be on that shit.
I was like, yo, this nigga is a big ass white dude looking like a fucking big ass German Nazi or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
But I told y'all, like, when Pablo's stupid ass was on the show, I told you that for WWE, they get into the habit of giving the performers the testing schedule so they make sure to pass the regulation drug test because they're technically a sports agency and they have to, have everyone quote unquote.
And you know
compete.
how I know people do stuff like that? Because there's a story where I used to work at a call center. And, I used to be doing my little nickel and bag, you know what I'm saying, to the people at the call center. The managers, he would tell me, he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, on this day, they're going to send them people in here with the dogs. You might not want to show up today with that. And I'm like, dude, if people could do something like this on a lower scale, you don't think they can do this on a higher scale where mega millions are involved?
Right.
John Cena was in an interview and a lady asked him about steroids and he said, I'll never publicly say that I haven't, but you'll never be able to discover that I have because I've never failed a drug test. Like John Cena said this in an interview. He's like, I won't say if I have or not. I'll never say that I haven't done them, but you'll never find out if I actually have or not. You'll just never know.
If you don't think John Cena's juicing, you're a fucking idiot.
Exactly. John Cena's fucking huge. He's gigantic and he's over 40. The same as The Rock. Like, look at The Rock. The Rock got older and got bigger. This nigga, The Rock hit 40 and gained like 20 pounds of muscle. That's not how life works.
Look, and we was just talking about this because we was also watching another movie, fucking Walking Tall or Standing Tall with The Rock.
Yeah, that's when The Rock looked kind of normal.
And I'm watching it, I'm like, well, he's big in this movie, but he's like normal big. But then fast forward to Fast and the Furious, he's like mountain big. And I'm like, nah, something ain't adding up. Shit don't make no fucking sense.
Look at all The Rock's movies before Pain and Gain. And then you'll be like, okay, he might be on some shit, but he's also kind of normal because his father was huge, so maybe he's on some shit. Pain and Gain
Nah,
came out, people were like, oh hell no, this
nah.
motherfucker.
I seen him in the when I first seen him big like that was the Fast and the Furious movie when it was in Rio. I was like, hold on, nah, this nigga is like, whoa, like where he get this big?
And look,
but it's like fuck it, you can't do nothing about it because it's like it's not like he's trying to fight anybody.
right?
Yeah, they ain't doing drug tests in Hollywood. They don't care about that shit.
Hey, let me shoot this at you, Art Man, before I have to eventually get off, man. You got the question up a Mexican style versus the Black American style, right?
Yeah.
But I want to counter that with this right here. There are certain Black Americans that fight in the Mexican style, but they never get the credit for being a left hooker to the liver, and the same things that they say when we talking about Mexican style fighters. And I'm gonna bring up a guy that he had both styles. He had the Black American style and the Mexican style. That was Thomas Hearns, and he never get credit for it. Thomas Hearns was one of the best left hooks to the liver in boxing at his time, and also he could box circles around you, and he can knock you out with one punch. Get what I'm saying? But like I say, blacks don't get that credit for that style of fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Tyson. Tyson was one of the original, Mexican
left
styles.
hookers. Yes,
all kinds of hooks and uppercuts to the body and the head simultaneously.
Angles.
Yeah, absolutely angles. He ain't getting no credit for angles. They gave angles to Loma fucking Chanko. Ain't that a bitch?
Right.
but yeah, he was one of the originals.
And look, one time this guy had a video up, right? And he had Lomachenko doing all this footwork. And he was like, oh my God, look at all that fancy footwork, right? I saw Lomachenko, a guy threw 5 punches and landed 3 of them. And I was like, you're talking about, sometimes, Art, I'm going to tell y'all the truth, man. It be so difficult talking boxing with people because they just come up with the most dumbest, stupid stuff you could ever see in your life. Like, they be looking, oh my God, look at Lomas. Oh my God, look at him blow out Jason Sosa or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, that guy's a bum he fighting.
Nicholas Walters after one Donaire win.
Too?
Yeah.
You know what it is? They don't do what I'm doing. They don't go back and do their fucking Googles and research and watch these fights from the past. So when they see Lomachenko doing all this shit, they like, oh my God, this is fucking brand new.
It's new to them. My casuals are so young these days. The teenagers, they're gonna think Canelo invented fucking boxing. It's just like when they showed Plant doing that feint jab and then feint. I think it was like a feint right hook and then an uppercut to the body. They said, oh, he got that from Canelo. I'm like, that's not new. I've seen that done in the fucking 90s, bro. Canelo didn't invent that shit. What are you talking about?
You talking about when he fakes like he's about to throw a right hand and dip low and hit you with a body shot?
Yeah, man, people attribute that like Canelo invented it. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
They called that a agger like a feint, because that's all it is a feint, but they are selling the feint. That's all they doing. It's almost like a pump fake in basketball. But to this morning, right? I gotta call this. I know this is your man, Art, but I'm not necessarily calling him out, but I'm just calling out a post. It was about 7:00 this morning, and I was just on Twitter. I'm about to tell you, and your man Max, right?
Oh boy!
And it was a dude. It was a black dude. I don't know who he is, right? But he seemingly is someone that's kind of popular for opinions or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Is his name Quentin?
I can't remember. He got a brother, and he seems.
You talking about the lawyer twins?
Okay,
the Diggs brothers.
Okay, right. And they seem like some real cool guys, right?
Yeah.
And they were shooting out a text saying how he has so much potential
Right. Yeah.
but to
I
be
thought what you're talking
humble,
about.
right?
I thought what you're talking about, Julius.
Right. To be humble, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so look, man, and right, and I didn't want to say nothing because sometimes when you say certain stuff like that, when people speaking, trying to speak life into someone, you can
Yeah.
look like a 100% hater, and you can look like somebody who don't want to be happy for somebody else. Okay,
Okay.
but I had to point out to the Diggs brothers or whomever, whichever Dig brother it was, I had to point out that what potential are you talking about? Are you talking about he quoted some type of legal defense and showing you that maybe one day he'll be able to be a politician, or are you talking about this boxing thing? Because and then I just pointed out to the dude, I was like, man, you got a lot of young black brothers out here. You can go back and see it; it's right there. I said you got a lot of young black brothers out here that got potential that just hadn't got opportunities. And he did respond back and say, "You right, you 100% right that you could be whatever." But if you don't know nobody to get the opportunity, you just talking. And the reason I brought that up, Art, is because of this, man. I respect your game, man. And you go back and you look at these fights, you study, and you know what I'm saying? Like, irregardless of what people say, man, you put in the work. And a lot of people don't put in the work. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not saying that Max don't put in the work. It could have been anybody. You get what I'm saying? Max was just the one he was talking to, but it could have been any person.
Not to say those guys in particular have done this, but there's people like that will, look all over the place instead of right in front of them.
Exactly.
And then talk shit about that person right in front of them on a fucking broad-eyed live fucking audience.
But
say, this guy ain't shit, but this guy is the guy.
But Jules, you know why that is. I mean, anybody that is like in like the chicken talk thing a lot, while they're in law school or whatever, they're trying to also develop an internet presence, and they feel that Max has gotten so big that they don't want to be like definitively on the black side. That's why chicken talk has expanded its audience so much. So they don't, they're in not so many words, they're trying to kiss the ring because they don't want to get attacked by Max's followers because most of his followers are fucking, racist, alt-right or whatever. Yeah, they're MAGA people.
Soldiers, right.
So that's why a lot of black people
they're art man haters.
Right.
Yeah, that's why a lot of black people will get on Twitter and talk like Ron Boy and Quentin D. Riley and Douglas Fisher and all those motherfuckers because they just tired of getting bullied. They just don't want to get bullied. They're like, oh man, I don't want to say the wrong thing because they're gonna be on my ass and I don't. Yeah, all that weak shit. So that's why.
But see, that's why last week we talked about Willie Gary. Okay,
right.
We talked about Willie Gary. We can bring up guys like Johnny Cochran. Those were guys that made it to the pinnacle level and was pure blackness, kept blackness around them too. Look at LeBron James. LeBron James haven't took and rest in peace the Kobe Bryant or the Michael Jordan approach to things. He helped his people. All his people were black. He helped them get to a point where people talking about Maverick Carter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
he was 5'6".
Man, even that shit with Rich Paul. They had to create whole new fucking rules because of that shit, man. Fuck
absolutely.
That, man.
But I'm just telling you, man, like people need to stop. I mean, I've been on Chicken Talk as far as listen. I've never spoke on Chicken Talk or whatever. But my thing is this, man. And my man loyal to the soul be always talking about black. Hey, man, stick to it. You got something, man. Why would you just?
We've been saying that.
Julius, I'm gonna keep it 100. The way I look at that shit now, I respect my brother Lefty, but I'm not gonna say I respect everybody else on there.
It's infiltrated. I've been told you
it's infiltrated, and I say I look at it
garbage.
I look at it like, yo, this is faking the funk because you can't. There's no way in hell y'all can sit here and talk black, 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 black this, and then you got Artman on here, a young entrepreneur. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You guys got a platform, and
They
what y'all
got
talk about is this nigga stealing, this
Right.
nigga doing
Now,
this,
yeah.
this
Well,
now,
nigga
I
doing
don't
that.
think that
I'm
Yeah, they're
was
like,
just
what?
jealous
in
of you.
now,
in Lefty's
Especially
defense. I
with
don't
this
think that
black
was
shit.
chicken talk.
now,
I don't think that was
Lefty
chicken
did.
talk.
Yeah, Lefty did.
That was MVO's. That was MVO's bullshit. But no, and even in chicken talk, they got a lot of fucking infiltrated. Like the moment I saw fucking Vivi having a speaking slot, I was like, oh fuck no, this whole operation is fucked up because y'all don't even
You
know the
saw
history.
who had
V,
one?
VV.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's
Yeah,
a
I know who you're
LG.
talking about. Okay.
I figured him out. He's an LGBT agent.
yeah, it just and it's funny because just like that dude, fucking what's his name, J Bro. Someone inboxed me. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody inboxed me and actually told me he had to rebrand his page because everyone hated him. He used to be under the name J Ro for saying all kinds of anti-black racist shit. And I'm like, oh shit, so he's a rebrand too. I'm like, yeah, all these motherfuckers just they come they first they talk a lot of shit, they say a lot of racist shit. They see Chicken Talk getting popular, and now they want to rebrand. I remember that idiot was going back and forth on me because I said Top Rank was doing NUA dirty, and then a week later he comes and says, "Oh, Top Rank doing NUA dirty." I'm like, "What? You called me an idiot for saying that last week? The fuck is you talking about?"
Talking about
Hey yo,
Yeah,
exactly.
man.
What's up?
Did you ever hear that that Ring I2 boxing talk try to fight BFTB?
like in person.
Yeah. BFTB told me on a live, I think like the other day, where him and Ring IQ, they had beef with each other, and BFTB told them straight up, okay, well, come meet me over in, I think, Dallas, down in Texas, and Ring IQ never showed up, and
Oh,
Well,
of
BF,
course not.
isn't Ring IQ in New York?
I
Yeah,
have no clue.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
Ring
course.
IQ. He's in New York with the rest of those weird like Puerto Rican mixed like black people haters. Like him and Punch Drug are both him, Punch Drug and Ishan, I think are all in New York. So they ain't gonna go to no place where it's open carry. They can fuck around and get smoked.
And that's
They
why we try to tell these dudes, and they be laughing.
Yeah, I
It
don't
just be
like,
so
I
funny
don't
to
like
me, bro.
Ring
It be
IQ.
funny to me because it's like, not saying that I'm a violent person and I go out looking for violence, but let's be real. If it came down to survival of the fittest, a lot of you boxing Twitter niggas couldn't hang. Y'all couldn't
not
hang with the art man. I
not at
swear
all.
y'all couldn't. I
They would
swear
get
y'all couldn't.
slaughtered.
Not on no fighting shit or no shooting shit, nigga.
Yeah,
What the
not on
fuck?
no fucking street shit with me.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Like they talk about all that pull up nonsense. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. It will literally be the last time you pull up. Your mama gonna be crying on TV talking about he was such a good boy. Now he
Boy,
was a stupid motherfucker that
motherfucker.
played games.
And
He was,
you know what I'm
and
saying? And I'll
I'm
never,
not even gonna
never
feel
take it
bad.
there. I'll never try to take it there because I don't want to waste
Shit.
my freedom on some stupid shit. But if it came down to like, oh, if you're trying to attack me and I have to defend myself, best believe I know how to defend myself to the fullest extent.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm shit. I've worked at law firms. I'm gonna stand the fuck out my ground,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm not gonna feel bad about it either. I'm not gonna feel bad. Once I beat the case, I'm gonna be on Twitter talking shit with photos of your stupid ass saying next,
next,
your dumb ass. And when Eson turned
caught a
18,
caught a
boy,
body.
you better not ever cross me when I'm in New York. I'll beat your little ass, man. I've never met people that are so disrespectful for like no reason. I'm like, bro, it's boxing.
So he's still in high school.
Yeah, most of
You
these
would
dudes
think
are
I don't know.
like Max and Vivi and all these dudes. They're all kids.
Yeah,
They're not
they're
even
like
old enough.
fucking little children, dude.
Yeah, they're not old enough
Yeah.
to drink, smoke, rent a car, or
Right.
fucking vote. Like they're all under 17. That's why when I
Yeah,
see them
they're
talking,
all fucking like little.
that's why when I see like black adults like BB, I mean black adults like MVO talking about, oh, VB actually know his boxing. I'm like, dude, you sound like
Yeah,
such a
that's
straight
crazy.
bitch. Like, what
Bitch,
are you
and
talking about?
he's saying shit like that about black, but then had this anti-black dude in there with you, and then want to be on here this fucking talking crazy about a black entrepreneur. It just doesn't make any sense to
Well,
me,
you know,
bro.
man,
These niggas is confused.
a lot of that, man, is what go on in the community. And like, I'm gonna give an example. Like, for example, when I went to the original Million Man March, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a long time ago. And
Damn, you
So it
know
was a
that.
guy that was out there selling. He was selling underwear, right? And yeah, Nation of Islam. I don't know if he was a Nation of Islam guy or he was just a regular Muslim guy, but he said something to me that day that stuck with me all that time. So he was selling underwear, right? And I didn't want him, okay? Not because I didn't want to support the brother, but because the underwear man was real small in the back and gigantic in the front. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was bad quality, right? But I was seeing people that was dissing him for selling it. But he said to them, he said, "But look, y'all go into the stores and you buy Calvin Klein and you buy this underwear and that underwear, but you come out here and dissing me for doing mines." And I thought about that when Art was telling me about what they said about it, and that's why I brought up weed. That's why I'll bring up tennis shoes and stuff like that. We as blacks love to put into stuff that we're gonna get nothing out of. You know what I'm saying? Nike ain't doing no kickback to brothers except the ones who they named the shoe after. That's it. They're not helping our community, but we always want to support other folks and they stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's exactly, and it's just like, dude, how can you sit here and say, "Oh, Art Man, he's stealing in this"? Bro, that's just a generalized hating ass statement because it's not like I'm just taking a Google image and just putting it on a shirt. I'm literally painting these images.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
I seen a guy paint Floyd Mayweather a picture, and Floyd Mayweather put the thing in his house. You know what I'm saying?
The fuck?
A guy painted a portrait of Floyd fighting somebody. I can't remember. And Floyd liked it and put the thing in his home. So I think a lot got to do with that. Hey, look, man, if a person, and I'm not saying that the person who said that to you don't have talent, but a lot of times people that ain't got no talent, they're gonna hate on somebody that's doing something with talent. Or if a person doing something that they not only never thought of or wouldn't think of, but not even capable of executing it. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. And no, Polo, Vivi is white, bro. That's the funniest thing about all this shit. And like I said, I'm not one of those people that says, "Oh, your space has to all march to the beat of one drum." I'm just saying, don't market it as a black space, and you got motherfuckers that made their internet reputation off being racist as fuck. Like that's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, just market it as a general boxing space where anyone's welcome. Don't be like, "Oh, this is a black space," and complain about coons while you got coons and other people in there.
And that's why I can't mess with Fred like that no more, because Fred, when he said open the barbershop, he was like, "Man, the barbershop is for us. It's for us to come in here, talk our junk, you know what I'm saying? Da 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 da." He said it was the black space. And then the next thing I know, he was like talking trash about all these guys that's taking money from Eddie Hearn and taking money from Top Rank and taking money from Golden Boy and doing all of this. And then the next thing you know, this man up here been going at Elijah Muhammad and underage women for the last 12 months. Made a movie about it, a short movie about a man that's been dead 40 years.
Oh my God. And that's the thing, like, because people think that black people want to be in their own spaces because we're seeking an echo chamber. No, the reality of the situation is, especially when it comes to things that are boxing, is that either all the objective people are too silent and don't have enough influence. A lot of these times when it comes to face value, when it comes to open debates, you either support and are pro-black or you're anti. And the reason why that is because a lot of the fan bases that are not black, that's how they see the situation. If you don't shit on Wilder, if you don't shit on Andrade, if you don't shit on Haney, what do they call you? They call you a Hamanite, an LDBCer. They call you all this shit. So that's how the non-black fans make it. They make it to either you're with them or you're against them on our side. It's one or the fucking other. And so that's why I personally don't like it when you're marketing something as a black space and then you got all these motherfuckers talking, just talking shit. And what's worse is that they clean up their act on Chicken Talk. It's kind of like how Vivi will clean up his act when he's talking here. Like he'll be an asshole. Like he was an asshole to Max. Nothing I could do about that. But when it came to me, when it came to me, he got all weirdly respectful. Like even Isan talks all kinds of shit on Twitter, but when he came on this show, he was respectful, which is weird. I don't like the energy switch, and they do the same thing on Chicken Talk. When they're on Twitter, they're saying, "Oh, Wilder sucks dicks, Haney can't punch," all this biased bullshit. But then when they get on Chicken Talk, oh well, personally, Wilder's a very talented heavyweight. He just didn't have enough to get Fury. Like I'm like, no, man.
And he's such a nice guy.
Same energy.
Hey, look, he's such a nice guy.
Can I also add on that?
I love his characteristics. I love him. But then when he's talking to Art, man, yeah, fuck those chicken legs.
Yeah,
and I'm like, goddamn.
What the hell?
It's bullshit, bro. And I just don't like the fakeness. I just don't like the fakeness, and like the fact that all these dudes, like all the non-black profiles that are in that space, all these dudes have like pasts. Like someone can come show me like their past, like, oh, they used to be saying this kind of shit, that kind of shit. I'm like, why do you need to reform? Why do you need to reform what was wrong with who you were? Because like me, people show me screenshots of shit that I said, and I'm like, I don't give a shit because I'm not seeking. I don't want a career in this boxing shit. If I did, I would just rebrand a specific boxing channel. This shit used to be something else that I used for college. I would rebrand and you guys wouldn't even know who I was. Like, I don't want a reputation in boxing. And most importantly, the only people I need approval from are my people. If you caught me talking shit to someone that wasn't black, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I meant every word I said.
Bro. And you know what would be crazy to me too is when people think that I actually be trying to like really like get on some like I'm just doing this for views and clickbaits and all that shit. I'm like, bro, this shit is just something that's fun to me. Now it became something that I can get paid from.
Yeah. And look, man, once you seen that you got an avenue to make a few dollars, you supposed to jump on that. And
hold on. We got Max in the chat. We said he says I heard my name was going on. He said I said VV was rude to you. Yeah, VV's a fucking weirdo, man.
Yeah, because I was listening in the back chat while y'all was talking about the fucking the Murata fight, and I disagreed with Max that it was a good fight, but I just disagreed for the reason I disagreed. VV was trying to he was just yelling and screaming and saying all kinds of stupid shit, and I'm like, bro, I mean, not a lot of people have seen Murata fight except in. Oh well, it wasn't a big deal, Max. It was about the Murata fight. He was just hooping and hollering and all that bullshit.
Hey, my dude Rand's Fist, he said peace and blessings to Art Man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, every time I do Rand Fist got come around, I gotta roll on up.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That VV guy, was he the same dipshit that was talking shit about Abraham Nova that I spoke with?
Oh, so I don't know if he said anything about it.
Yeah, I think he was.
Because he blocked my ass on Twitter. So I have no idea what he said.
Yeah, because I want to say that was the same kid that was talking shit, about Abraham. Because, if he was that same guy, then he's a degenerate piece of shit. Because
shit,
I know damn well that most of the shit that people say about fighters, they won't say it to their face. So obviously they
absolutely not.
Yeah, so. People like him need to have a safe space on social media just to say that, just to make themselves feel good psychologically. Otherwise, if you were a fighter yourself and you had something to say about another fighter, why would you want to talk shit about them online? Why not just settle it face to face? Because if you're going to be like a man about it, I would suggest even at a younger age, you should bring it face to face with somebody rather than talk shit about them behind their back. Because, in the streets, that's what gets people killed.
Oh, this nigga said he's terrible.
Hey, look, your boy VV talking about us now.
This nigga said he's terrible. He said Abraham Nova's fucking terrible. Compared to who, dog? He was just talking
man,
about.
hey,
Compared to
shout out
who?
Alan Young though, man.
Yeah, shout out to
I
Alan Young.
pray to that brother. You know what I'm saying? Come out of that, do
He's
his
so
thing,
terrible. Then go
and
fucking beat
everything,
his
man.
ass.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Alan Young. Shout out to Alan Young. Hey, but look, now VV got his booty goons up in here.
Yeah, his fucking mood
His
is
goons.
fucking like
Look, cause
emotions.
look, hey, he got mad.
Why you
because-
block me on Twitter, nigga?
Look,
What the
he
fuck
got
I ever
mad
do to
Yeah,
you?
because you a
he got
pussy
mad
in
because
real
I
life.
got him a nickname. I said,
You a pussy in
yeah,
real
nigga.
life.
I said you're anti-black, but you like black. You know what, nigga? You're the Ed Buck of boxing Twitter. Chill out.
Oh, we called him Ed Buck. It's just
Damn.
weird because I remember when we was going back and forth. We was going back and forth about Holyfield because he's one of those dudes that was trying to give all the white dudes who pop dirty a pass.
BB don't know me.
No, I don't care. I don't care, BB. It's not that important because the truth is, really, don't nobody like you. But he was
Yeah,
he was
nobody
one of
knows
those
about
dudes.
you.
He got mad because he was talking about Holyfield, and again, it was like Barry Bonds. Holyfield never failed a drug test, but I mentioned Kovalev and Besputin. He was like, "Oh, I don't care about those dudes, so I'm not talking about them." I'm like, "Oh, so they get a pass for actually failing drug tests, but you want Holyfield ass, and Holyfield don't even fucking fight no more." Okay, like that makes a lot of sense.
And never failed a drug test.
And
Exactly.
you know how they like to say, "Oh, we have a pattern. You guys are LDBCers and all that shit." Nah, when I see you guys saying certain things, we already know what type of people you guys are.
Expose them.
We expose you, and they say, "Oh, Art Man, you're a race baiting." Well, why the fuck you biting the race and let me expose you? Let me biting the bait and let me expose you.
Hey, look, man. Let me go, guys. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
All right, we'll see
Later,
you later.
Julius.
All right,
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah,
and then
we still what? We an hour,
and
36
then
minutes in.
and then it's funny because I remember the conversation in which he blocked me. He was talking with Irv, and I was shitting on the Ortiz versus McKinson fight. This dude said that the WBO ordered it to combine to consolidate two inferior titles, and he said I had a lack of awareness, and there was no WBO order. Because
Look,
the simple reality of the situation is that Golden Boy wanted to fight McKinson to get him some southpaw practice that wasn't fucking boots. Because
you
they
know what
know
they
he'll
hate
fuck out
about
and
you know what they
lose.
hate us about us most, D-Hive on Twitter? The fact that we constantly kill their dumbass narratives with just the simplest points. And they hate that shit.
I would love to
Yeah,
spread
it's
your
terrible.
honest.
Just like with the glove photo, they tried to show a photo of Deontay Wilder's full Everlast MX glove, and then I hit him with the Path and Sport gloves where you can see Knuckles stutter.
Exactly.
Couldn't do
Oh, you guys are just crazy. And then they try to say, "Oh, we just crazy." I'm like, "Well, how crazy am I?" Because I remember you dumbass niggas were fucking believing Eddie Hearn saying that 1 week, fucking 17 weeks later, bro.
one
Like,
more week, mate.
Yeah, one more week,
it,
mate.
it,
One
it
more
got
week,
so
mate.
bad.
One more
It
week,
got
mate.
so bad. We used to clown you
One
guys
more
and
week.
say 1 more week, and y'all really used to sit there and be like, "Damn, well, Eddie Hearn he does have a lot of money." The fuck out of here with that stupid shit.
And it's
Y'all just didn't like the fact that some niggas was telling y'all. Yeah, I ain't
and
like
it's
it. I'd rather
and
hear
it's
it.
funny because they try to say, "Oh, the photos are clearly photoshopped." I'm like, dude, it has a professional watermark of the man's name on the photo. He took those. What happened was Tyson's Fury camp requested they be taken down from the second fight, but then they got posted back up after the heat died down. So those photos are
And
back up
then
for
and then
everybody to see.
when the heat got back up, the guy went in there and fucking turned it off again, made it private
And,
again. But it didn't even matter because we screenshotted the shit.
yeah, exactly. I managed to save that one from when the fight fucking happened. I only got that one too. They lucky I saved that shit too. But and it's on my Google Photos. But yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. Vivi blocked me because I said that Shakur Stevenson needs to have the same energy he has talking shit online to Herring and Colbert. He needs to have that for Valdez. And he was like, he has been calling Valdez out, not as aggressively as he was after Herring, and not as aggressively as he's been after Colbert. He's been like, oh, I will Colbert out. Like he hasn't been like Valdez needs to stop ducking. He didn't get on the duck talk until the fight was already made. Now all of a sudden he like, oh, all the ducking season is over. I'm like, yeah, where was that when he was getting ready to duck your dumb ass? You see, and then all that I'm Puerto Rican bullshit. He needs to cut it the fuck out because they don't see you as Puerto Rican, bro. They don't see you as Puerto Rican, especially if you fuck around and take an L out here in these streets. You're gonna be black as hell. Just ask Laura and just ask Ugas.
And we know. And you know, speaking of that, D-Hive, you know another reason why dudes like fight of the year and Irv don't fuck with us, it's because we cracked their fucking code. We know all that shit, dude. These guys will literally sit here trying to laugh at us and be like, "Why are you so tribal, Art Man?" with a fucking Mexican flag in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense. They don't like the fact that we're able to fucking clown him. He tries to say that I got a prison mentality because I'm thinking for my group or I'm thinking about my group progressing.
Well,
Meanwhile, you showed the tweet of Jojo Diaz talking about how he's rooting for Caleb Plant and his whole country, and not country, but his own race, his own race of people started shitting on him.
Yeah, and
he's getting off code.
The thing I like, at least Irv tries to be smart. Irv fucks up a lot, but he tries to be smart. Father of the Year is a fucking moron. Father of the Year, all he does is suck Canelo dick, and that's how he gets his following. Irv will at least
remember, can you sue for racism?
And then immediately Latino suing Texas state government for gerrymandering. Easy work. It literally takes 5 seconds to Google some shit and just pull it up on screen. Like these guys, and this is how you can tell they don't do shit for a living. Like Herb always goes in about my money and do I go to fights, but then he'll talk about how garbage the pay-per-view is. I'm like, nigga, if the pay-per-view is so trash, why the fuck I need to go in person?
Yeah,
why are you worried about
your little why you t-shirts? It seems like the people that they claim ain't doing shit are the ones that's not really complaining about pay-per-views. You guys are the one that's complaining about pay-per-views, but popping that shit like y'all big doing something. Oh, Art Man in his little t-shirts. You see me complain about pay-per-views?
Yeah. Father of the Year lives in like Arizona, so that's whatever. But Herb live in Kansas. Nigga, you can't tell me shit living in garbage ass Kansas. Your entire life is smelling cow shit every morning you wake up. Don't even talk to me if you live in Kansas. Like,
shout out to my fans in Kansas, man.
Hey, real talk. Okay, fine. I'm not shitting on Kansas, but if you're from Kansas and that's where you currently live, if you're not the governor of Kansas, don't you ever talk down to me. Are you fucking crazy? Especially when it comes to this money shit. Like, don't even like stop it. Stop it. Don't you ever in your life. But yeah, but like I said, at least Herb has some intelligent moments. Father of the Year is a fucking moron. Like he doesn't. I don't even think he knows boxing. I think the only thing he knows is like some of the Mexican fighters, and then that's it. I'm not even convincing those fucking boxing because he was one of those people that talked a bunch of shit about Andre. Like, oh, Andre is ducking Benavidez being a champion at 160. Andre says he's moving up. Then all of a sudden it's, oh well, Andre is ducking Janabek. I'm like, what the fuck? So what is it? Is Andre ducking Janabek or is he fucking not? Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, he just goes in circles. He just goes in fucking circles. So
Can I add on the Shakur thing?
Oh, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, I wanted to counter argument on the Shakur versus Valdez, Puerto Rico versus Mexico situation. Like, to me at least, Puerto Ricans will view Shakur as a good win for Puerto Rican boxing. But for us black people, like obviously, like Shakur Stevenson will, be viewed as a Black American victory. But either way, Shakur Stevenson is still gaining fans from all those racial demographics. And no matter how people are going to view that, Shakur is still going to win at the end of the day because his marketability and his fan base as a fighter is going to help him grow to be that type of mega star.
Can I ask you a question, Ron?
Go ahead.
Do you think Puerto Ricans were celebrating him when he got locked up and he had that mugshot?
I probably
think they're claiming? Yeah, they.
No.
So why is it that it is acceptable to claim him when he is winning, but deem him as just a Negro when he loses?
They didn't claim him at one.
Yeah.
That's losing.
They didn't claim him at 126. You know what they used to call him? They used to call him Shakira when he was hunting Valdez at 126. Y'all remember that?
I do.
They used to call his ass Shakira.
I remember those days.
They were like, "Oh, Shakira hasn't done shit. Shakira don't deserve no Valdez. Valdez will fuck him up right now." And it's funny because Shakur keep talking all that Puerto Rican bullshit, and his whole real name is Ash Shakur Nafi Shahid Stevenson.
That, you know what that sounds like to me?
Sounds Arabic.
That sounds like a Muslim name. That sounds like my name. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly his. And I'm like, and my thing is, I'm like, Stevenson, you can claim Puerto Rican if you want to. That's cool. But let me tell you,
And it's
They
crazy.
do not
Speaking
see
of that,
your ass as Puerto Rican.
my brother name is Shakur.
Oh, no
Crazy,
shit.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, of course they don't look at him as a Puerto Rican. They look at him as a black man, a black American dude, and especially he wearing all this hip hop clothing. You know
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm
the
saying?
thing is that Shakur Stevenson, just by how he talks, he feels more comfortable being around his own people at the end of the day. I can see that. But at that same token, why not push that towards guys like Subriel Matias? Because, if you put him in his shoes, that could be the same exact thing of saying, well, if you're black, and even though that you do have other racial genealogy inside your DNA, that still doesn't matter because you have to be on this side, and all the other people that don't look like you need to be on that side. Doesn't that play like a double standard?
Well, I agree, but also it has to extend from individuals who are already not seen as black. Like for example, people like Anthony Joshua, even though Anthony Joshua was obviously black, Ugas, Erzlandi Lara, they had to be reminded of their blackness in defeat. Now, what you're saying it makes sense and it's absolutely true. But if Subriel Matias and Abraham Nova haven't openly claimed their blackness, their identities are exclusively in their Puerto Rican nationality, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want some reciprocation, you also have to openly claim your blackness if you want to advocate for unity. Because I guarantee if people start identifying Subriel Matias, who barely speaks English, and Abraham Nova as black fighters, they will be like Ugas and be like, well, actually, no, I'm from here, here, and there. And then that's not going to win you no points with black people.
Yeah.
On zero.
Not at all.
Because people tried to
Yeah.
people tried to come at black people saying, how come y'all don't claim Erzlandi Lara and Ugas? And we were like, we do. They don't claim us until they asked lost, and then they became black.
And Crod, there's a switch now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, black folks, we were very open with other, groups just because they look like us, they're dark. So we'll say, okay, they black fighters, they black fighters.
Yeah.
Now today, after seeing how these guys treat us and how they're, how they don't want to claim us, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're FBA.
Yeah, because immigrants turned on us.
Yeah.
That's the reality. That's why I said that we're doomed in the United States, because the immigrants reinforce the white supremacist perspective and the outlook on black people. And that's all black people. And the worst part of it is even African immigrants will come and reinforce those ideologies and beliefs among their progeny so they can have easier access and movement within a white supremacist umbrella, within the white supremacist edifice of the United States. If immigrants had come in on some Martin Luther King shit, we wouldn't be here right now. But immigrants came in and piled on top of us as well. So that's the situation.
Reasons like today, where we have guys like Mikey Garcia identifying as a white guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's closer to a black person.
Yeah.
And that's why people and that's why I said earlier about either being with black people or against black people, because like I said, whenever black people try to give Benavidez any respect, they throw Benavidez in the nigga pile so quick. Oh my god.
They do.
My Lord. They really, really do.
They throw him in there. Does he got some nigga blood in him or something? Because
that's what they said.
They do. They did the same exact thing to another Hispanic fighter. I forgot his name. I think he was from Mexico, and some black people were giving him some credibility. I think it was, man, I forgot his fucking name, man, but
was it like in the 80s or 90s?
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly. Was he like a heavyweight?
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I forgot his fucking name, but yeah, he was a heavyweight. He was born in Mexico. But he was black as hell. I know exactly.
Saul Montana.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of black people were giving him praise, but the minute black people do that, they just threw his ass to the black category.
He was a target. Yeah. He was a target. And man, what am I saying, nigga? Fuck that. Conceição.
Yeah, he's from Brazil.
Conceição was Brazilian all up until that Valdez fight. Then the nigga was black. then he became you just max that black dude lot. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking serious? Nah, bro. Y'all heard all the stories leading up to the build up. Oh, he's a Brazilian Olympian. He represented Brazil at the Olympics. Da 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 da. He gets robbed by Valdez. He's mad because that nigga lost. What the what?
That black man's back to the losers queue.
And even Anthony Joshua. I have British motherfuckers on Twitter telling me that my guy lost. I'm like, what?
And then they'll sit around and say, "Hey," they'll talk about boxing and race.
I was flabbergasted. I'm like, bruh, the Ukraine just came and took 75% of your belts, beat your champion like a fucking Cherokee drum. And you telling me, a guy who lives in the United States who don't even fuck with Anthony Joshua, that my boy lost? Wow.
And then when you
Well, it just shows that British people don't give a fuck about boxing. It's more like Black Americans and like Hispanics from the central and southern part actually care about it.
Right now they're shitting on Tyson Fury. They're like, I'm sick and tired of this guy. Fuck this guy. All that love is just gone.
Yeah,
they tired of hearing him talk because he ain't got no opponents. You know what will make them love Tyson Fury again? If he had to fight, well, of course that. But no, I was gonna say if he had to fight Jared Anderson.
Oh yeah, Jared Anderson.
If he had, or no, even worse, Jarrell Miller. If he had to fight Jarrell Miller or Anderson or some damn body, people are like, oh, Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight of our time. He's gonna easily destroy these fucking non-boxing fucking power punching black guys. Like, it's gonna be over. You're just mad because whites are running the heavyweight division. It would be all that bullshit. But because he got, who's gonna fight fucking Dillian White? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck about Dillian White and his dumbass career. No.
Yeah, those are, just remember, those are the same motherfuckers that say Stephen Shaw is a bum and he doesn't fight nobody good, knowing that he pretty much exposed to you how the heavyweight division is being run right now, where guys like him can't get any of these marquee fights, but guys like Dillian White and fucking Joseph Parker and Derek, Gabriel Rosado, asshole Chisora can get all these fucking mega fight deals and basically, rob the bank, right?
Well, you know who Stephen Shaw just signed with, right?
Top Rank, right?
Yeah. So the way I see it is, shit, feed Stephen Shaw to somebody and see how the shit work out. Shit, maybe Stephen Shaw should be fighting a Jogba or fucking maybe Anderson or fucking Fury, and then let's see what happens.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
He told me, the minute he can get, his deal in with Top Rank, he said that Top Rank, will most likely be giving him those names. And I think he said to me, with that interview that I did with him, that, if he's successful with this fight, Top Rank was going to set him up between him and Guido Vianello.
Oh shit! I ain't never heard that motherfucker. I mean, hopefully that's just like to get him paid or whatever. But
yeah. Like, give him more money.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like F.A. Jogba he could probably beat. I'm not saying that he beats these guys. I'm just saying like when people say somebody's trash and they haven't even been given any opportunities yet, I'm all about seeing what's good. I'm like let's see what's good then, and let's see like people talking about Devin Haney is trash and he won't survive past 135. Okay, cool. So when he starts calling out your favorite fighter, I don't want to hear no shit.
Nigga, I want to see it. Gary Russell versus Devin Haney.
Exactly, and I like Devin Haney, but I'm honest about it. I'm like, Antoine might fuck around and destroy him, but I'm not gonna be a bitch. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, what does Antoine accomplish? No, I'll go ahead, Devin. Shit, handle business. Shit, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, man, handle it. Get in there.
I was also gonna tell you, Stephen Shaw is not fighting that Hainsworth guy. He'll be fighting Joey DeWetchko, that white boy from Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's a white journeyman. He hard to knock out though. So I hope Stephen Shaw can get the knockout. That's gonna tell us where his power is. Even though like DeWetchko, like he's tough. He's a tough journeyman.
Yeah, that's a pretty good match just to start out.
But it's difficult because when Stephen Shaw was fighting against that Russian dude on Ringside TV, Ringside USA in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
he was wearing MX gloves and he hurt both of his fucking hands. So hopefully, he makes some better glove choices and got his hands together to where they don't need surgery and he can actually still crack up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was I remember his last fight. That was a problem. So you don't want to go into the damn heavyweight division with fractured hands because that's what keeps happening to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's had like fucking 7-8 surgeries on his goddamn right hand. Yeah, like
I'm thinking like, man, maybe it's time our brother sit down.
Yeah, the old line to hang it up.
No, I mean,
I feel like he should at least retire with one good fight finish.
Yeah,
like a Ruiz fight. Other than that, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him go up the rankings again. Like, man, he's too rich and too fucking,
too successful.
Too successful to be doing that type of shit.
I want to see him smoke Ruiz, and I want to see shit. I would love to see him smoke Joseph Parker, but Joseph Parker pussy.
Man, you don't think, bro, on some real shit, you don't think Wilder took a lot of damage fighting this big ass nigga? He put a fucking dent on the dude's face.
I mean, I know he did, but I'm talking from a fan perspective. I guess I'm being selfish. And it would just be cool to see Wilder wait somebody to do like Wilder versus fucking Dubois. That would be some shit. That'd be funny.
Yeah, Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, just Dubois.
You know what it is, bro?
Dubois don't move fucking head.
Y'all fuck with Wilder so much, you don't want to see the champ go away, man.
Honestly, for me, I just don't want people to say Fury retired Wilder. Like, I don't want to hear that for the rest of my fucking life. Like, Fury retired Wilder. He was doing so good, and then he had to fight Fury. And it's like, bro, Wilder was already fucking 37. Like, wait, how old is Wilder now? Wilder is currently 36 years old. I'm like, yeah, he was already at the end of his career when Fury came around. Because most people don't realize, as opposed to fighting Klitschko, because motherfucker actually exposed it. Talking on here a few streams ago, as opposed to fighting Klitschko, they were looking at Fury earlier. But that fight didn't materialize, and then they moved on to wanting to fight AJ and shit. But I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but Deontay Wilder was trying to fight Tyson Fury earlier in his career, prior to Fury, fighting Klitschko to get to get his championship shot or title shot.
Yeah. He actually was. Like, let me see, because I remember after he got the belt, he was looking for a Tyson Fury type situation. But so he got it off fucking Stavern. Let me see the timeline with Fury. He got it off Stavern in 2015. Okay. I'm just doing my research, making sure I'm not talking out of my ass, because I remember Tyson Fury beat Klitschko in 2015 as well, if I'm not crazy. So yeah, he beat Klitschko in 2015. Oh right as Wilder got the fucking title, Fury tested positive after the Klitschko fight and was banned for 2 years. That's what fucking happened. He got banned.
Got banned for like X amount of years.
Yeah, he got banned for 2 years and didn't come back until 2018. That's exactly why. Because that dude was like, "Oh shit, Wilder fucking ducked Klitschko." And I was like, "Yeah, he was trying to."
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna say, yeah, he was trying to fucking fight Tyson Fury, and then Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury had all the belts, and Deontay Wilder had just got the WBC strap. Up off Stavern. So it was about to be some undisputed action. But exactly, and then he was like, "Oh, he want to fight Klitschko." Blah, blah, blah.
I gotta make a video on that.
Yeah, it was like, no, he wanted to reach out to Tyson Fury to get the belt off the dude who still had him. Fucking Klitschko could have got the smoke afterwards. But shit, imagine like a younger Deontay Wilder without the Luis Ortiz wars.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder would have smoked Fury.
He would have been undisputed because he would have cooked AJ's ass too.
He would have cooked Fury, AJ, and then Andy Ruiz, and then
he would have cooked Joyce. He would have cooked Povetkin. He would have cooked pussy ass White. He would have cooked all these motherfuckers, man.
Man, I wish I could go back in time and actually just put that what if saga in there. That'd be dope.
Motherfucker got banned. He literally got his license pulled and had to take a 2-year fucking layoff and relinquish all the damn belts. And we already know what happened to AJ weak ass. I don't want
Oh,
to
and
sell
then
my
AJ swooped in, and then he got all the belts as soon
I
as
don't
Fury
want to
lost them.
I don't want to sell my soul, man. I don't want to be in the situation where I'm selling my soul, man. I'm like, nigga, you asked for 50 million. They gave you 50 million. You were like, nah, I don't want the 50 million no more. Like, nah, nigga. Oh, Peter Quillen is MAGA. Well, I never gave a fuck about Peter Quillen. He was always a B plus fighter to me. So even if he is MAGA, like I'm not gonna judge your political opinions on when it comes to boxing. Like only bitches do that. Like whenever people talk shit about Mayweather and Tank, they talk about like their legal shit. Like I don't do that. Like Kovalev literally broke a woman's back in public and kicked her dog. But when I'm talking about Kovalev, I'm talking about the fucking boxing. But Gary Russell beat Mayo both times I watched the fight. A lot of people say that, Kevin Effect. So I wouldn't say you're blind. I wouldn't say you're blind. I personally think that Gary lost, but he definitely showed separation as far as his boxing skill. I think he definitely outclassed Maxio, but he lost the fight just based on inactivity. He literally was only working with half his fucking body. Like he couldn't throw any jabs, and like I kept repeating during the live stream during the fight party, you cannot win a boxing match without actively throwing jabs. It's hard. So that's why I think he legitimately lost, but it wasn't it wasn't due to just being completely smoked. Because also like I could also see it the other way. I could also see it a draw or Gary winning. I would have been happy because let's keep it real. Like I keep referencing, when Maxio fought Hermosillo outlanded him clean, did more work, landed more shots on him in total. But the judges gave the entire fight to Maxio because Maxio landed the more quote unquote convincing and cleaner shots. And Gary Russell Jr. absolutely landed the more convincing and cleaner shots during every single fucking round. But they gave Maxio the fight because of forward activity, because of pressure, and because he just simply landed more punches. So, it is what it is. Like the boxing game is subjective. And the truth of the matter is that, yeah, they did want Gary off the belts. They did. They want the belts to be more active. And I don't think that Gary Russell Jr. and Al Heyman's relationship was the best. And you can say what you want about Al Heyman, but the nigga the boss. And if you he promoting you talking shit, what incentive does he have to advocate on your behalf? I don't approve of the way Gary got done, but I don't know what's going on the back end. I am upset that he lost. I don't like that he lost. But yeah, I mean that's the reality. Hopefully he can move up and get some better quality smoke. I mean, after this shoulder thing, after he's in surgery, no one should struggle. I mean, like everybody should want to fight him now. But I will say this: Gary Russell, I believe, was offered $1.5 million to fight Devin Haney, and he foolishly turned his shit down because of certain terms that he didn't agree to. So, and for this fight, he only got $500,000. So it's like, again, black fighters not wanting to break bread with other black people, it come and bite you on your ass. What do y'all think about of Regis versus Gary Antoine? Gary Antoine beat both of them motherfuckers, especially Teofimo. Come on, man, that's not even like, and not to mention, look at what the fuck Regis doing with his life. This nigga signs with Pro Bellum and immediately fights some garbage. Like Pro Bellum is supposed to be MTK Jr. Like why the fuck? Like Tyrone McKenna. Oh my god, what the fuck, Regis? Like you did all that. Oh, Regis versus Tio. Man, I think Regis will probably dog Tio.
Yeah, fold him.
I don't know about stoppage because Tio is big. I'm not saying Regis don't hit hard to knock out big dudes, but he'll probably get a knockdown or two. But Teofimo's a big ass motherfucker, so it's gonna take like a hard ass. It's gonna take some shit to knock out Teofimo. So I think he'll whoop his ass for the majority of the fight.
I don't think Teofimo's gonna do good at 140.
I mean, he just won't. I mean, he's not gonna beat no top people unless he just develops wilder like power going from 135 to 140. Because Tio got power. If he can land on you, but
yeah,
he has to improve his application. But no, as it stands, unless Regis like turns to trash, he'll beat the shit out of Tiafimo. But the only bad thing is that Regis is already 34, and he fighting motherfuckers like McKenna. I'm like, oh shit. Like, yeah, exactly. He's fighting. His next fight will be on the random ass Sonny Edwards title defense.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he's fighting Tyrone McKenna. Motherfucker got 20 wins and 6 knockouts. Can't punch for shit.
Yeah, that's not the same white dude that lost to O'Hara Davies.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah,
I
so
don't
he's
know.
not like a fucking certified.
Like, I understand that when you sign with a new agency, they just trying to get you your startup money and a few paychecks. Like Stephen Shaw and Top Rank, he fighting some nobody as his introductory fight. Okay, cool, that's cool. But after this, Regis, if you ain't in the ring with a certified, I'm on your ass, bro. I swear to God, you better be pushing for the Matias fight. You better be pushing for the Josh Taylor, he going up. But you better be.
Matias, he's gonna fight Ponce. I thought.
Okay, well, shit. After he done whooping Ponce ass, because Regis was just talking shit today. He was like, "Oh, I'll fuck Matias up." Okay, can we see it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but I think Subra Matias, after he whoops Ponce, let's just say theoretically, if Taylor vacates, I'm pretty sure Subra he'll become champion by then, and then he can fight.
Okay, real shit. If Regis get a belt too, then we can go ahead. Like, shit, unless Devin Haney move up and start spoiling motherfuckers' plans. I think that Devin Haney will probably box Regis' ears off. But shit.
I think the top killers at 140 will be Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias, and then man. I want to say maybe Jose Ramirez, but I think he'll probably move up to 147. And then
we got to see how he does in Zepeda, because not Zepeda, but Pedraza. Yeah, yep. That's a losable fight. If Jose Ramirez gets his ass whooped by Pedraza, that's not gonna be a good look at all.
Yeah, because I think Jose Pedraza, his style is just all wrong for him, and I don't think Jose Ramirez can beat a pure boxer puncher like Jose Pedraza.
If Jose, absolutely, Kevin, if Jose Ramirez get in there and get his ass whooped by a nigga that used to fight at 126, bruh, retire. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Retire. Shit. Artman's Cash App. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know Artman's Cash App. I think Artman fucking went to the bathroom. But yeah,
Jose Ramirez. It's just like, I just know deep down he can't win against a pure boxer puncher.
Nah, he's basic. He's very basic. So, like when people say basic, like rudimentary style, that's Jose Ramirez. He can punch, he can box some, but he's incredibly basic.
Yeah.
And people talk about, he beat Hooker. I'm like, not only is Hooker basic, but Hooker lacks sufficient power to keep a motherfucker like Jose Ramirez off of him. I mean, you see him like that's the problem with like super lanky dudes like him and Robert Easter. They don't have sufficient power to keep motherfuckers off him. So it's like, they're gonna get all you gotta do is push in, close the distance, drop some to the body to lower their hands, and they're out of there. Like look at what Virgil Ortiz Jr. did to Hooker. Same situation.
Yeah. But I think Subriel Matias would brutally stop him.
Yeah, Subriel Matias will beat his ass. I think the top player, like Tiafimo, could do some damage if he gets his shit together and actually starts, get his head on straight. Brandon Lee is a sleeper. We got to see what we got to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah, like I agree, but I kind of feel like Brandon, he's still a little bit like, he's still a little bit green in the division because he hasn't fought any legit certifieds yet. But I think he'll definitely become a huge major dark horse in the division.
Yeah, I like Brandon Lee because he can punch. He's a puncher. He's more of a puncher. He's more puncher than boxer. But yeah, no, I like dude, and he's 24 wins. He got 22 knockouts, only 2 decisions. And honestly, I was thinking that after this step up shit, maybe you could feed him to Gary Antoine Russell. I'm like, Antoine got
dude. Oh my god, yo. That
that.
fight is going to be the most bloodiest fight ever. I'm
That's
calling
all. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Brandon himself got 22 knockouts. Antoine Russell is 14-0 with 14 knockouts. I'm like, well, fuck it. They both young, undefeated prospects. What the fuck? Like, what are we waiting on? Let's make it happen. Shit. Especially if Antoine Russell gets into title position and they need an eliminator, have him and Brandon scrap it.
Yeah, and then the winner can face I don't know what sanctioned body, but whoever is going to be that mandatory position for the any of those belts.
Well, this fight right here is gonna get Gary Antoine Russell ranked into the top 10 because Gary Antoine Russell's not in the top 10. Brandon Lee is in the top 10 for the IBF. He's number 9 for the IBF. So Brandon Lee is in line to fight like Prograis, Robert Easter, Montana Love, those or what's his name, Shojahan, Ergajev, like
Ergajashev, yeah.
yeah, and Liam Paro, people like that. So Brandon is already a top 10. That's one of the reasons why I wanted Gary Antoine Russell to fight him. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted Gary Antoine Russell to fight him, so Gary Antoine can get on the top 10. But he fighting Postal, so I'm like, okay, fuck it. If he will Postal ass and he knocks him out, that should be an automatic top 10 slot. I don't give a fuck what's going on. But
even if they do fight each other next or sometime soon in the future, that doesn't hurt their careers. That actually helps them.
Exactly. And the thing about it is that I hate when people like they say for prospects, like I hate when people protect prospects by saying, "Oh, this guy's an unknown." I'm like, bro, they're prospects. Not only are the wins gonna age, but that's exactly why they should be fighting because nobody has any profile on the other one. They could both make a banging ass fight, both make some decent money, and then heal and get better. But he says, I don't know, man, about Brandon Lee. He tells me he's gonna get beat when he steps up in competition. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I mean, he's a guy that always has a puncher's chance, though. Like if he lets some shit off, he could probably stop you and get you off your feet at the very least. But yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't strike me as someone with massively elite potential, but it's still an entertaining fight with all his power. And Kevin Effect, I agree. I think that Regis beat Taylor. I had the fight scored 6 rounds to 5. I had the fight score 6 rounds to 5 for Regis and 1 draw round. That's why I have it 6-5 because I know it's a 12-round fight. People gonna be like, "That's 11, D Hive," and I'm like, "Yeah, I had 1 round to draw."
I
But
was gonna say, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the next fight that I would put Brandon up against is possibly Arnold Barbosa or
No,
fuck.
top rank ain't gonna let that happen. Barboza can't punch. Barboza, and not to mention Barboza's number 2 for the WBO after Catterall. So hell no, they're not gonna put Barboza in that position to see fucking Brandon Lee unless it was like a unification or some shit. No, Barboza can't punch. Why do you think the top rank might feed Barboza to Teofimo? Because he can't punch.
Yeah, but then Barbosa's gonna lose his position as a contender.
But Teofimo could take that spot.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Niggas is getting sacrificed. Because look, Pedraza and Ramirez are already 5 and 6 for the WBO. They fight each other. That person gets to jump in the rankings, probably behind Barboza. So if Teofimo clip Barboza nuts, he fighting the title eliminator, and then boom, 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 boom. Or if Josh Taylor vacates, he's fighting in the WBO over a vacant. So boom, Teofimo back in the mix.
Yeah, but on top of that, Teofimo has to go through like at least 10 to 15 other killers, in the, at least top 10 or top 20. But
when Teofimo get up there, they're gonna push him up the rankings just based on what he did at 135. But like I said, Barboza is ranked number 2 right now, and Jose Pedraza and Ramirez, their fight is gonna elevate the next person. They're gonna give Barboza directly to Teofimo, and they're gonna make sure Teofimo takes his spot for the WBO. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And then even if he doesn't shoot up the WBO rankings automatically, they'll probably have him fight the winner of Pedraza and Ramirez, as long like if it goes to a decision, they'll probably have him fight the winner of Pedraza Ramirez, depending on how he looks against Barboza, and then he'll be in title position. So it'll literally be those two fights. It'll be those two fights, and he'll get it.
I was gonna say for Brandon, maybe he should fight Montana Love or Sandor Martin, and maybe Robert Easter Jr.
Yeah, Robert Easter most def because he's already on fucking Showtime, so that's an easy ass fight to make. Sandor Martin's good. I like that fight. Sandor Martin's not too highly ranked. He'd have to fight some more people. So yeah, like honestly, Regis should be fighting Sandor Martin because Zepeda and Ramirez are ranked number 1 and 2 for the WBC actually, and they're fighting right now. So those two, so whoever's probably going to be ranked number 1 for the WBC afterwards. So you know, now I was talking about the WBL, but yeah, those two are actually number 1 and 2 for the WBC, so they'll fight consolidate, get that spot. Sandor Martin and/or Regis will be right there. So shit, I'll take Brandon Lee versus Regis at this point. I mean, shit, if Regis is gonna sit there with his thumb up his ass fighting fucking Tyrone fucking McKenna, yeah, that's some trash. Yeah, Montana Love versus Haney. Yeah, they probably gonna save that. When Taylor vacates, they probably gonna have Montana Love grab a strap and then feed his ass to Devin Haney, so Devin Haney could get that belt and then try to unify if niggas ain't pussy at 140. If Fury popped dirty after the Klitschko fight, why wasn't it ruled no contest? You know, I don't know. It's the same as with Canelo and Triple G. That political power.
That should have been ruled as a no contest.
Because I know when Besputin popped dirty against Butayev, that fight was ruled a no contest. I know that when that Japanese dude tested positive against Tevin Farmer, that fight was ruled a no contest. Ogawa. So it's like I don't know. The political power is different, motherfuckers. You know, Tion needs to get away from his father. He will not. Yeah, that's real talk. They got some real feminine energy in that camp. He giving me some Angel Garcia vibes. I don't like that bullshit. Lee at 140 ain't big as hell. Lee needs to go up to 147 for real. Because if Lee went up to 147, somebody like Lee will give Virgil Ortiz Jr. some problems.
Oh, Brandon Lee?
Yeah, he big as hell for 140. He need to stop bullshitting. I can't stand that. Like
I think Brandon's trying to take advantage of 140, so that way he can become, a weight bully.
Exactly, because I remember somebody asked him about bouts. And he had some real hesitant energy, and I'm like, yeah, Nick, because you know what's up there. Because whenever people talk about welterweight, their brain instantly goes to boots. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how casual you are in boxing at this point. Whenever people talk about welterweight, they are talking about fucking boots. Okay, they know that fucking Bud, Spence, whatever. They know Boots is the biggest fucking threat out there because people don't even think that Spence beats Boots anymore. And people are like saying that Boots and Crawford is a 50-50 right now. So that means if you ain't Spence and you ain't Crawford, you're fucking guaranteed losing the Boots off top. And people fucking know that. So, that's why whenever motherfuckers talk about going to 147, they're like, we don't know what that crazy motherfucker up there doing. We don't especially because he's not a champion yet. So if you working up in the rankings, people gonna be like, hey, why not fight Boots? You ain't doing shit. What you doing? You ain't doing nothing. So go ahead and fight Boots, fuck it. Just like Thurman, people were like, hey, so why don't you just fight Boots? Your fat ass ain't been doing nothing. You been sitting on the couch collecting dust, hanging out with that little Indian wife. You gotta go fight Boots, nigga. He's like, who? Who? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know who the fuck that is.
I mean, Jaron Ennis is basically like a guard dog at this point. But that's a good thing because that's actually promoting his name. And then when he gets a belt at 147, everybody coming up from 140 to 147 is basically going to have to see him. So
it's gonna be a line. It's gonna be a long line of sacrifices because ain't nobody from 140 whooping Boots ass. It's like, what the fuck you gonna do? And then people keep talking this Gary Antoine Russell shit. I'm like, bro, check this out. Okay, Gary Antoine Russell got off on Boots in the amateurs. We get it. And you know what I always say? Porter beat up Usyk in the amateurs. How the fuck you think that would work out today?
Porter beat Usyk.
That's what I just said. Yeah, Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. So how the fuck that? Yeah, that's what I said. I said Porter beat Usyk
I was thinking that you said Porter beat Ugas in the amateurs.
No, and that's another good one though. Ugas beat Bud in the amateurs. How do you honestly think that Bud versus Ugas would play out? Crawford beat the shit out of Ugas. It wouldn't even be funny. It wouldn't even be funny what Crawford would do to Ugas. Crawford beat the shit out of Ugas, bro.
Yeah, I think Terrence Crawford's style would be too much.
Yeah, Ugas ain't got power like that. Like Ugas got some power, and if you play with him, he'll kick your ass. But dude, Bud will stomp Ugas the fuck out. That's why Bud fans are praying to God that Spence loses to Ugas because they know that's easy money. Bud will dance on fucking Ugas' corpse, bro. It wouldn't even he'll beat the shit out of Ugas. It wouldn't even be fucking entertaining to watch. He'll just run up on Ugas, start beating his ass. Because Ugas is fucking slow. Nah, I disagree, Hughes. I disagree. Ugas has now gotten too slow. He's had some arm injuries. He's definitely significantly weaker to the body, and he don't hit hard enough. He does not hit hard enough to disincentivize Crawford from pushing in on his ass. Like if you watch the end of fucking Meme Machine or Green Beans versus Bud, that's exactly how Ugas is gonna fucking end, and then he's gonna stop him. He gonna run up on Ugas. Ugas gonna put his hands up. Bud gonna get him against the rope, start duking his ass up, and then it's gonna be over with. That's exactly how it's gonna fucking end. But yeah, Regis versus Cepeda is a good fight. He who greets it is. No, Ugas is big, and he is strong.
I want to see Cepeda versus Brandon Lee. That's a good fight.
That is a good ass fight because they both punch super hard. No, Ugas is big and he is strong. I'm saying he's not strong enough at this point in his career. He is not strong enough. He's not strong enough, and he's not fast enough to do shit with Crawford at this point. If Ugas was 4 years younger, for sure, you would have a point. But now, no. After the shit he'd been through, and not to mention, after I saw that Abel Ramos fight, because he got a majority decision against fucking Abel Ramos, dog. And Abel Ramos rocked his ass badly in the 3rd round and in the 12th round. If Crawford get a hook off like that, he's done. He will go to fucking bed. So if fucking Ugas had did some crazy shit like knock out Abel Ramos, I'd be like, oh shit, you know what? Crawford might be in some deep shit. But Abel Ramos was hardly throwing punches, but the punches that he did throw was knocking Ugas' head back. I was like, oh man. Like I said, that's why, because Ugas is big and he's strong, they're hoping Ugas will have enough to beat Spence on points, so Crawford can come in, and Crawford will more than likely stop Ugas. I'm gonna keep it 100. If Crawford stops Spence, I'll be shocked. I'll be like, ooh shit, I had no idea. If Crawford stopped Ugas, I wouldn't even be surprised. Ugas is older. He's had multiple injuries. He has 4 fucking losses. And we've seen how he fights. Like honestly, if Jamal James went the distance with Ugas and he had 10 days notice, Jamal James on a full camp might fuck around and beat Ugas on points. So it's like, NJMP. I think that Ugas gives Bud a good fight for the first 5 or so rounds. But as the fight goes on, Ugas is going to start getting sloppy. Bud going to start getting closer and closer. And Ugas is not going to be able to answer for Bud's jab, some uppercuts, because that's the thing about Bud. That's what makes him so dangerous. Bud throws every punch. Every single round. And this is something that Spence doesn't even do. So like I said, man, if Ugas fuck around and beat Spence, bro, I can tell you this. If Ugas were to actually beat Spence, all the talk about Bud going up to 154 would die. He would be trying to get that fucking Ugas fight. I guarantee you that. Right now, because Spence probably going to beat Ugas, he's talking shit like, oh, I'm going to just go to 154 and be 2-time undisputed. If Ugas fuck around and beat Spence, all of that 154 talk will die. I guarantee it. He'll be on Ugas' ass tough. I bet it. Ugas and Spence have something in common that will give Crawford problems. They have basic solid style and they're defensively responsible. They both have a good jab and don't leave openings. That's true. Ugas has a very excellent double jab right hand. The only thing is that Ugas is less defensively responsible than Errol Spence Jr. And Ugas is a bigger target. That being big shit doesn't always help you in the long run. Just ask Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios was a very big target for Tank. But you saw when Tank fought a smaller target, he struggled. That's the critical difference. That's why I think Ugas will get dusted by Bud, and I think Spence has a decent shot at beating Bud. That's why the difference is. Bud is a smart fighter, but yeah, and he throws every punch. And also, like, okay, let's provide a magical scenario in which it actually came to banging, where like Crawford and Ugas on the inside, they banging it out. Who the fuck you think gonna get the better of that? Come on now, come on. Ugas like Ugas, I, outside of a fucking lucky punch, bro. Like, come on, man. Ugas ain't gonna do shit with Bud.
Yeah. But I can't wait for this, upcoming fight with Martinez and Conceição.
Yeah, that's crazy. Xavier Martinez is a beast, but it's interesting how he asked for Conceição off the top. I was like, that's a little risky for your first introduction to Top Rank. I mean, Xavier Martinez fought on PBC. I don't know why the fuck he left. I guess maybe
I don't know why either. I think it's because
his competition was probably gonna get a little bit tougher because he was fighting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because he was fighting at, I think he was fighting at what, 130, and he already came off a tough ass fight with like Claudio Mero. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Claudio Morero. Yeah, so his competition was going to start getting tough to the motherfucker. Like, he was about to probably have to fight Eduardo Zerdito Ramirez and shit. Yeah, because that dude hit hard as hell.
Yeah, Eduardo Ramirez, he's a killer, dude.
Yeah, Zerdito, yeah, that dude hits hard as hell. Spence is tailor-made for Ugas. The right hand landing all night, just like Pac. Yeah, that's the difference, though. Spence is a little bit bigger than Pac. And, Spence doesn't just rush in, machine gun punching in flurries. Like, that's not how Spence fights. So, it's going to be a little bit of a different situation, homeboy. Just because Ugas said that he likes fighting southpaws because he had some luck with Pacquiao don't actually mean shit. Fucking how many southpaws has Ugas even fucking fought? Because I know that Manny Pacquiao's whole career, Ugas I think was like his first and only Cuban fighter that he ever fought. So he didn't have no real experience. But I think Ugas' southpaws have been Pacquiao, Ray Robinson, and Perella. And I think that's kind of it. So yeah, so his southpaws have not been like extensive. So
yeah, they're not dangerous southpaws.
Yeah, so don't be listening to I run this fucking mouth talking shit. Oh, I love southpaw, nigga. You fought a old ass fucking Pacquiao. Chill the fuck out.
If you love southpaws, then like, why didn't you fight EJ on the come up?
Oh well, because his come up was fucked up. Like his come up, he was his come up, he had a layoff and he had some other shit cracking for him.
Yeah, family issues, but
yeah, he had all kinds of shit like that cracking. So he couldn't get that work in. Not to mention, he probably didn't want to see Spence. Spence was a fucking monster. Yeah.
I was just going, after that point, to basically show his contradictions, but.
Yeah, exactly. Postal getting ready to get decapitated. Yeah, Postal's gonna go out pretty violently against Antoine. I don't think that's gonna be good. As long as Antoine watch out, just slip the jab, watch out for that straight right, some of those uppercuts, it'd be okay. Postal is pretty rudimentary. Like Postal kind of fights in like the Klitschko style, where he like paws his jab out to try to block the lane to make sure you can't land any jabs on him. He has decent foot movement, but again, the nigga's almost 40. So this is a ritual sacrifice to Gary Antoine's development. Hopefully it'll get him ranked in the top 10. And then some of these motherfuckers that just been taking up space, y'all gotta get sacrificed, man. There's a lot of just dirty laundry sitting at PBC. Niggas need to get sacrificed. Like fucking Brandon Lee. If you ain't doing nothing, sacrifice. Robert Easter Jr., you ain't doing nothing, sacrifice. Fucking Barrios already moved up. Batir Akhmedov is this pussy ass still fighting at PBC or did he fucking leave like a bitch?
I'm pretty sure he's still with PBC, but he probably could have left.
Okay, well yeah, one of them, Subra Matias. Y'all ass trying to get some work. What's his name? Alberto Puello. He's number 1 for the WBA.
Yeah, he's good. I was just about to say that Like, he should fight Brandon Lee. Alberto Puello versus Brandon Lee. That's a damn good fight on Showtime.
Well, Brandon Lee was the IBF, but yeah, people like him, nigga. If you want to fight over a vacant, it's time for you to get sacrificed. It's time for you to be sacrificed. Wait, who brought your name up? I don't control the show. Artman controls who comes up, so I don't have any control over that. But I've never heard of you before, so I'm not sure who brought your name up. But cool.
But I was also gonna talk about the female divisions. I can't wait for Clarissa coming up soon.
Yeah, she about to defend. She about to defend her.
Oh shit, D-Hive, your boy's in here.
Who is that?
J-Ro.
Oh, Jay, this is like the fucking Inoue fanatic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good.
This is what I mean. Like, these guys change names 100,000 times. Like, I can't keep track of these motherfuckers. Yeah. So yeah, his real name is something Rosales. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, sure. Drop the link. Get him on.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I can't wait to hear this.
all he's gonna do is drill me about the intricacies of Inoue's contract and the valuable contribution of sperm weight boxing. Like,
I keep saying
you don't know
Inoue
boxing
needs to
because
move
you
up
don't
to
know
fucking
Takanawa yet.
I watched.
I don't watch that shit.
Yeah,
No, I watched the little sperm weights just because it's boxing, but they're not all that entertaining all the time.
Naoya Inoue just needs to move up to fucking featherweight.
I mean, shit. No, anyways, cool, but I mean, yeah, like a lot of the people.
All right, we got a special guest in the building.
No, I'm not special. Come on. I heard I was anti-black. How? Explain.
No, I said that someone. I said that someone told me that you used to have an old account on Twitter and you were known under the name J-Ro for saying things that were anti-black. I had never encountered you until you were this J-Bro person on Twitter.
J-Ro's my account has always been J-Ro's on 13.
On Twitter?
On Twitter. Always until this new one because I ran out of accounts. But anyways, what did the guy say? What was said that I said was anti-black?
The guy didn't show me any screenshots. What he said was that your account on Twitter was under this 3-letter name J-Ro, and he said that that's where people knew you, and then you transformed into J-Bro because you had sort of a bad reputation for being like a VV-like account, where you would be sort of anti-black and then sort of not in certain spaces.
I don't know what anti-black is in terms of myself. I've been banned for calling white people whitey. I've been banned for I saw a group of black people beat up a white guy, and I said, the white guy must have done something wrong, and a whole bunch of MAGA people blocked me. Reported me for that. I have never been anti-black. I never used a racial term. I'm not gonna say what I've done. But anyways, I would like to know what was said or how I was anti-black. What black fighter did I ever go extra hard at? If anyone who knows me knows the two fighters that I go extremely hard at are Lomachenko and Golovkin. I never go on the anti-Mayweather rants. I've never been on the anti-Wilder rants. I supported Wilder when he fought Fury. I supported Wilder in the whole AJ beef. I support Tank. I've been on I've gone to Errol Spence fight. I supported Errol Spence when he fought Mikey Garcia.
In
every single account, there has been not one instance where anyone can show any proof that I've been anti-black. So
my only anti-black experience with you thus far on Twitter was I remember the first time I actually encountered your account under the J-Bro account was during the Ugas situation. I remember when I was talking about it when the WBA first assigned him Stanionis and Butayev. I remember I just commented under something because I didn't know like you were like a person on boxing Twitter that people knew. I remember I commented something and you retweeted it saying, "LOL, look everybody, this guy wants me to feel bad for Ugas while he was blatantly being fucked over." And then the next day, all of a sudden, you were saying, "Huh, this is actually a terrible situation
Never.
where
No, that's a lie. And that is because I have never supported Ugas. You know why? Because my whole gimmick, I have a gimmick that I don't even like Cubans. I don't like Cubans. I don't like Dominicans. I have never supported a Cuban fighter.
why this was it."
The only Cuban fighter I ever liked was Casamayor. I find them boring. I don't find it. I find Dominicans like Joan Guzman, who was the most talented fighter. I find Dominicans talented fighters, very talented, but they don't live up to their potential. Either because they don't train hard, or because they eat like Joan Guzman, they eat themselves out of a weight class. But I have never have I ever said, Ugas got me blocked. Like I don't support Uga is MAGA. It's MAGA Uga. Ugas is a big Trump supporter. Ugas was a big police. He loved the police.
The niggas from Cuba, I mean, 30% of Latino Americans voted for Donald Trump. So I mean, that's
and you know what? That's true. That's true. That I will not deny that. A lot of us Hispanics, not me, but a lot of us Hispanics, for some reason, love that motherfucker. I didn't vote for Trump, but it doesn't matter. But I agree that a lot of Latinos, a lot of Hispanics had this weird obsession trying to be accepted by the whites. I'm not one of those motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck about white people. I don't want no white people acceptance. I teach my kids not to be accepted by these motherfuckers. That's why I teach my kids to learn Spanish, to learn our culture.
right.
Like, you would never, my kids would never be straight English speaking U.S. citizens.
Right.
Third generation, fourth generation, because it's important that we don't want to be we don't want them. We don't need their acceptance. We don't need white people acceptance.
No, but just to make sure I have the right guy, your Twitter picture on Twitter is Inoue, right?
Inoue and Roman Gonzalez.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I guess that was my only anti-black experience with you thus far. The only other thing was some information I heard secondhand, but I guess maybe people interpreted you being anti-Cuban and Dominican as anti-black.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be. But look, a lot of Cubans are racist. Like a lot of Cubans, a lot of Latinos, no doubt. My grandfather was from Honduras. He was what they call Afro-Latino, whatever, but he was black. A black Honduran, and he was racist towards blacks. I didn't understand this as a kid. I didn't understand it that why he would disown his own daughter, my aunt, for marrying a black American and having black kids. He didn't have no. I was a kid and I was his favorite child, but my half black cousins, he didn't want to see them. As a kid, I didn't understand it until I got older, and I was just like, yeah, this motherfucker was racist. So I get that a lot of Latinos are racist. I understand that. I get that a lot of, especially Afro-Latinos, black Latinos like Ugas, like my grandfather, they have this weird self-hatred for themselves. But I do not use my name as a anti, because that's not true. And that's lazy and it's cowardice.
Well, you just revealed that you were anti two different groups, so
I'm anti what?
You just said that you're anti-Cuban and anti-Dominican, so
I'm not a fan of those fighters. Like I'm not a fan of them. But I'm not a fan of Eastern Europeans either. Like I'm not a fan of Kovalev. I'm not a fan of Triple G. I'm not a fan of Lomachenko. Who's this new middleweight? That's supposed to be Andre Mandatory. I'm not a fan of that guy. But I'm over here arguing with a Twitter account saying that this motherfucker's a top 5 middleweight of 6 pro fights. But I'm not a fan of Eastern Europeans because they all get this hype, this undeserved hype. Cubans get this undeserved hype because of the amateurs. These Eastern European cats get this undeserved hype because of their amateurs. When it comes to the pro game, they really don't do much. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I don't have any particular bias.
J-Ro, can you see the comments?
No, I can't say the comments right now.
I don't have any particular bias against Eastern European fighters, but yeah, they're a lot of their reputations are earned in the amateurs and they're not fulfilled in the pros. On that, we can agree.
Yeah, it's all those Cubans. No, lately you got Rigondeaux, you got Lara, and we see what Ugas doing, but Ugas seemed to be going that route when he was losing to the Don King fighter. What's his name? Armani? I forgot his name.
Amir Imam.
Yeah, Amir Imam. Right when he was losing to him, Ugas had that little reputation, but he recovered. So we'll see what he does with Spence. But like I said, anyone who thinks I'm anti-black, I'm not. We can always have this conversation. You guys can always add me, or we can always meet up for fights. I'm gonna be at Spence Ugas in Dallas.
What makes you a Nui fan? I thought you were Asian.
You thought I was Asian?
He says like he already said it. I already knew he was Hispanic because he said it on Twitter. But
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm a big Roman Gonzalez fan. I love Chocolatito. And back in 2013, Inoue had like his 2 or 3 fight, and he was on Chocolatito's undercard. I watched him. I saw him knock this motherfucker out, and I'm like, dude, for a 108-pounder, this dude is explosive. So I followed him, and I followed his career ever since. I followed Roman Gonzalez since 2007. These are cats I just followed. I saw them, and I liked them. I don't understand the big deal about that one.
No, it's not a big deal. It's just that we noticed that when it comes to, I call them. I'm not one of those people that I'm not one of those people that don't watch the smaller weight classes. I do just because it's boxing and I like to be in the know and keep up with the news. But anything below 122, I label sperm weight. I call it sperm weights. I label it sperm weight.
The lower weights are not for everybody. And I'm fine with it. It doesn't have to, people don't have to love the lower weights. What I have a problem with people when they talk about the lower weights is they don't have to like it. They don't even have to watch it. You don't have to watch it. But if you don't, you also don't have to have an opinion on it unless you really follow it. Right?
Why not?
Because, okay, here's the thing. I watch a little bit of UFC, of MMA. A little bit. I don't watch a lot. But I'm not going to tell you who are the 10 best fighters in the UFC or who is the best fighter in the UFC because I don't watch enough to be able to have that informal
What
opinion.
if I told you those guys that you've watched at the lower weight class, they'll get smoked by any dude at the higher weight class once they step up?
I will hope so. Right? I mean, if the smaller
and that's
guys,
our big problem with Anui because we like, dude, y'all say this guy is this, and that, and we should say he's better than Errol Spence, which I think is fucking ridiculous. But it's like, dude, how can you say that if he's fighting guys who in his weight class are a Kell Brook or a Sean Porter type in those weight classes?
I think Donaire is better than both of them. Than Kell Brook and
a guy who got knocked out twice. Got knocked out.
Donaire's his best win, but we also have to take into account that dude had 5 losses going into that fight and was damn near 40. That's all I'm saying.
All right. But he also wants you to take account that 4 of those 5 losses came above 118.
That's right. True, but even going down in weight, that's honestly a discredit. That's a further discredit to the win for Inoue because you're fighting a guy that's also coming back down in weight as he's aging. That's usually not a good scenario.
I agree completely. That's why I didn't like the win until Donaire went and knocked out Ubali, the WBC 118 champion. Then he got a title. Yeah. Then he went and beat his mandatory. It's 4 rounds. Knocked both of the 2 guys under 118 in 4 rounds. The champion and the mandatory. So
what do you think about Inoue doing it again instead of moving up in weight?
I actually like that fight. I like that fight for Inoue. I want Donaire to get another chance.
Okay, but what I'm saying,
I feel like that's risky. That's too risky for Inoue, man. He's going to get knocked out.
Maybe, but we'll see. But I had the same take as you. But I think that Donaire has kind of made that win, has aged it better, if that makes sense, because of what he has done.
No,
Right.
you're right, but I understand that the reason why Inoue gets pound for pound consideration is because he's gone up some weight classes. But
Mhm.
outside of, let's say, Omar Narvaez,
Right.
that one Antonio Neves, that guy,
Well,
and
I think Emmanuel Rodriguez was better than Antonio Nieves. But go ahead.
okay, we can talk about Rodriguez, and then like dudes like Maloney. I mean, Maloney's not known for anything. Payano is not particularly special, so it's like that's what we're talking about. But I guess it's just a difference of opinion, because sometimes people grade pound for pound off of how many trophies you like, how many titles you have, how many weight classes you've been through, and then the people you fought. But then sometimes we'll see people like Tyson Fury on a pound for pound. It's like, wait, what? This
Well, yeah,
motherfucker one division and fought two people his entire career. Like, so
I
you know.
understand. But what benefits Inoue is, let's look at the Payano fight, right? Yeah, Payano maybe hasn't done anything special, but Inoue slept him in one round, right? And then you go see who Payano fights afterwards. He goes ahead and fights Daniel Roman, who might be Stephen Fulton's next opponent, who's the mandatory, who I thought deserved a rematch versus MJ at 122. And then you look at the Payano and Daniel Roman fight, and you can argue maybe Payano won that fight. Daniel Roman is a good fighter at 122, a top 3, top 4 guy at 122. Fulton, MJ, Roman, who else? Aline, those probably the top 4 there. And Payano maybe beat that guy, arguably, if you go look at it. Inoue slept him with just 2 punches in round 1.
Yeah. And then he went on to go 6 rounds with Antonio Russell, and then he got stopped in 6. Like I said, I mean,
I think that was a headbutt, right, with Antonio Russell. I think that was a headbutt that went to the decision.
I mean, Payano fights everybody dirty. You know how he fucking like.
But what benefits Inoue is, yeah, he's beating these cats, but it's how he beats them too. Like, he's sleeping them, he's destroying them, and that's rare. That is rare when you see this lower weight class, because usually this lower weight class is like Chocolatito, Estrada. They grind you, right? They throw 100 punches. You look at CompuBox, they got like 900 punches thrown, 1,000 punches thrown. They just punches, but no one really doing damage. With Inoue, he is a rare exception. He's like doing damage at this lower weights.
Sarang Bisai and Julio Cesar Martinez are taking. Sarang Bisai took out Chocolatito, and then Julio Cesar Martinez is taking people out rather violently.
Yeah, he's taking. Yeah, I agree with Martinez. And we'll see how Martinez does with Chocolatito. I think that's a different level. I don't know if he's ready for that level, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he has a good. I mean, people. I understand the aura surrounding Chocolatito, and I have how I feel about that as well. Especially as him like being pound for pound like #1 at one point. But like, even if Roman Gonzalez is significantly more skilled and face better competition, Julio Cesar Martinez is a little bit unorthodox, even coming from the Mexican school of boxing, and he does have that power despite recently being dropped by a Royal. Like, he can fuck around and sleep Chocolatito.
That's why I love to fight. I think it's a great fight. We'll see. And let's talk about this Roman pound for pound, because I do think a lot of people have this anti-Roman whatever. But I understand it. I get it, right? Because let's be honest, what happened here. You had Ken Hirschman. You had HBO fire Ross Greenberg, who had a good relationship with Al Heyman. You had Ken Hirschman at Showtime doing the Super 6, doing the Bantamweight tournament, and then HBO hires Ken Hirschman to take over for Ross Greenberg, and Ken Hirschman doesn't have the relationship with Al Heyman. Matter of fact, he pretty much banned Al Heyman from HBO. That's why Al Heyman took his fighters to Showtime, right? So then Ken Hirschman says, you know what? I'm going to promote this European fighter, Triple G. And Triple G does well. He does good ratings, sold some tickets. But then he got cocky, and he was like, hey, I'm going to promote Kovalev now. Then we're going to have an all-Ukrainian card with Lomachenko, Usyk, and Vosdik. And yeah, Floyd Mayweather, fuck you. You can walk to Showtime. Go ahead. Go get your record money over there. We're not even going to compete. We're not even going to match Showtime offer. You can walk. So now I get it, right? Because Ken Hirschman now is very highly Eastern European, seems to be anti-black, and for sure anti-Al Heyman and now anti-Floyd, and the poster child is Triple G. And then in the same token, they go ahead and put Chocolatito on that Triple G undercards. Right? Now, I felt personally that they put Chocolatito under the Triple G undercard because the media was saying he was pound for pound number one, but HBO was trying to say, no. Roman isn't pound for pound number one. We're going to put him in the same card with Triple G, and you're going to see how much better Triple G is than him. But I think the fan base, Floyd Mayweather fan base, saw that as, oh no, HBO just trying to hype up Roman, like they hype up Triple G. He's going to become a hype job. But really, HBO had a whole different intention. Their intention was, no, we're trying to promote Triple G as the number one pound for pound. That's why when Roman Gonzalez got knocked out, you heard Jim Lampley say, yeah, no one's going to want to see Chocolatito again. Jim Lampley cries for every little thing. He did not shed one tear when Roman got knocked out because they couldn't wait for Roman to lose so they could say Triple G is pound for pound. You got Dougie Fisher who wants to talk about King Roman, still king, but he's talking that shit when talking about fighter of the decade because Floyd Mayweather was fighter of the decade, not Roman Gonzalez. And I love Roman. He's my favorite fighter. But Floyd Mayweather was the fighter of the decade. But he just to shit on Mayweather.
You don't think that was used to undermine a black fighter?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And just to shit on Mayweather and shit on Mayweather fans, he said, oh no, Chocolatito's the fighter of the decade. So the media want to use Chocolatito as a shot at Floyd, right? And then but when Chocolatito lost, Dougie never gave Chocolatito a pound for pound belt or ring magazine. I didn't even know those existed until Roman Gonzalez lost and Triple G got the pound for pound number one. And Dougie Fisher goes to Triple G press conference and say, here you go, here's this ring magazine pound for pound belt.
But the real issue with the whole situation is, and I apologize for cutting you off, but the real issue that a lot of people have with Roman Gonzalez, and I know it's the issue that I had, was because all the pound for pound consideration that Roman Gonzalez was getting happened before everything you just said. He was on top of pound for pound list, like I'm not sure if it was Ring at the time. I don't think it was Ring, but like organizations like BoxRec and some of the other like not mainstream like ESPN or Ring had him, but he was in the pound for pound number like top 3, and some even had him as number 1. He was in those kind of talks before he'd even fought Valoria. That was the major thing. Now I understand that he's the first fighter in history to be to have a championship in 4 of the lowest weight classes, and that is significant. I do. But the fact of the matter is that in the division that he was fighting, because in 2015 he was still fighting at flyweight, and he was unified at the time with the WBC and the Ring. But people were talking about pound for pound before he had even fought like Edgar Sosa. And people don't even know who Edgar Sosa is today, let alone Valoria. And I understand that's partially due to ignorance, but it's because HBO had this proclivity to create hype jobs like Triple G. People thought that a lot of others were being discredited by saying Roman Gonzalez was number 1 in the world, and he hadn't even got to this point yet. He hadn't even fought Quadras once.
Over Ward and Crawford.
Well, Crawford, Ward at the time had one fight maybe in 2 years. Hadn't fought in 2 years because at the time Andre Ward had a legal battle with Dan Goosen. At the time, Crawford was just getting into the scene in 2014, right? Because when did Chocolatito make his HBO debut?
Okay, but in that case, over Mayweather.
Yeah, I believe it was 2014.
Yeah, and Crawford was barely getting in that scene. That's when he fought. I think
he was still at he was still at 140 at the time, I believe, and it was before he'd even started his undisputed run.
Yeah, exactly. So he was just getting into the scene. So and Roman been there since 2008 as a champion. So during that time, he was like 6 years that Roman had been a champion, moving up in 3 divisions already.
Right, and at the time, and a lot of people at the time, especially felt that Regendow. I think this might have been during
Yeah.
the period in which he was exiled or put on that blacklist, because a lot of people felt. I think it was a lot of the emotions being tied up with Regendow because of the way he was being done, because of his inability to get fights at the time, because he only had one fight during the entire year of 2015 and 2016. Like, he fought Francisco and then he fought Dickens. And a lot of people during that situation, I think that added some fuel to the fire, which Roman Gonzalez just happened to be the target.
But that could be true, because Rigondeaux beat Donaire in 2014.
He beat Donaire in 2013, and after that, the shit was downhill.
Yeah. Because that's when Top Rank pretty much gave up on him, right?
Yeah, they put his ass on ice.
Yeah. No, that's true. But those are the only three guys you can really talk about, right? At the time. Mayweather, Rigondeaux, Chocolatito. I don't know who else would have been in that conversation.
Well, Canelo was being talked about at the time. Manny Pacquiao was, still relatively active.
Yeah.
Tim Bradley was in discussions 2015, 2016. Lomachenko had really, come alive in 2016, so that's when they started to talk about his ass way too much.
I mean, Lomachenko went 1-1 in 2014. He lost to Salido in 2013 or 14. 2013 he lost to Salido. 2014 he beat Russell, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, so I thought Roman Gonzalez pound for pound credentials was all right at the time. I had no problem with it.
I think after recovering from the Sorung v. Sai, not even that. I was going to say, I think that after fighting Valoria in Quadras, then I was like, okay, now I can understand. I understand that he was getting credit for the previous 2 weight classes that he had fought in, because he had fought in minimum back when he had fought in minimum weight back when it was called that. I think it's called something else, called something else. Then he went to light fly. And then he went up to fly now super fly. So I'm thinking after the Valoria, Arroyo, and Quadras wins, after that little run, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, cool. And then he lost to Sorung Visai, and that didn't change my mind, because I knew he would bounce back, because Sorung Visai just had his number. But yeah, and then he avenged that with the Calia 5 W. That was solid. So yeah. I just think that the 2015, before he had actually started putting in work at the superfly flyweight level, I think that it was a little premature, and that's what a lot of people feel about Inoue. Because in one point where I didn't say that Inoue would do shitty when he moved up. I just think that's what we need to see to solidify his top 3. Because a lot of people have him over Errol Spence and in some cases over Bud. So it's like, all right, we got to kind of see.
Well, right. Okay, look, man, my pound for pound list is pinned up. I got Crawford over Inoue right now. I do have Inoue over Spence, but that's because Spence been inactive, and because Spence has fought in one weight class. I think that kind of it depends how you feel on that matter. I don't have Tyson Fury on my pound for pound list, because I think Tyson Fury is the biggest fighter. He doesn't have a physical disadvantage in any fight. He can fight here. He has every single physical advantage. He can fight Wilder. He has every single physical advantage. Yeah,
he's the single largest heavyweight fighting as far as height and weight.
Yeah, exactly, and even reach. I think maybe even reach.
I think he has like an 85. I think damn near 90-inch reach. So yeah, he's like a value but with elite boxing skills.
With talent. Yeah, he's a value with talent. So I don't know how good his skills. Look. I think if he was Wilder's weight, 230 pounds, 225 pounds, I don't think he gets up from some of those Wilder pounds. I think he stays in the ground. I think his size helped him be able to observe some of those punches. But whatever. Yeah, man. I just heard. Look, I don't know how Twitter is wild. So somebody messaged me like, "Hey, they say that you're anti-black." So I was like, "Who? Artman?" I'm like, "Oh, well, let me go look." Because I never had a problem with Artman. Matter of fact, I used to tell Artman, when are you going to make some Inoue gear? Didn't I used to tweet you that, Artman? Did I not used to tweet you that? Hey, I make some Inoue gear, and I go ahead and buy some off of you. Support you. You know what I mean? I know the what's his face? The Slim guy, Slim Mo, the DC guy.
Oh,
Um,
fucking Ronnie.
yeah, I know he was calling Artman a that he was stealing or whatever, not paying the fighters or what have you. But I don't. I mean, I respect Armin's hustle. I don't care what Armin does.
And I want
Uh,
some of the Twitter people that have some sort of weird issue with me to come on and talk to me. I'm like, what's the problem? They say I'm a fucking moron because every other day I'll miss a comma in one of the contracts of somebody or some shit. I don't know, but I've seen everybody on Twitter, even the most popular names, make horrendous gaffes. I just don't talk about. Like, we've all gotten calls wrong. But I'm like, hey, if everyone got such a problem with me, my takes are so horrible, come talk to me and tell me why they're wrong. Like, every time Vivi gets up here, or every time I get up here, Vivi fucking leaves. he, fucking takes off.
I will say this. I really disagreed with you when you said Top Rank has Inoue fighting on a Tuesday. Because that's just not true. The Ohashi had Inoue fighting on a Tuesday. Now, I agree that Top Rank has done a horrible job with Inoue. But when whenever Inoue fights in Japan, Top Rank has nothing to do with it. For example, this Donaire rematch. Top Rank is not even in the negotiation table. Or it's Mr. Honda from Taking Promotions and Richard Schaefer from Probellum, who's negotiating that unification to happen in April in Japan. Top Rank will not be involved. So whatever date they choose, they chose. Top Rank is not going to. If they choose to fight on a Wednesday, well, I think they're going to choose to fight on August 9th, which is going to be Inoue's birthday. But if they choose to fight, if that lands on a Thursday, it's not that Top Rank has them fighting on a Thursday. It's that that promotional company in Japan wants that date.
No,
and that's the only issue I have with you. It's be correct.
Outside of the Ugas thing, but no, the reason I understand that he has a split promotional deal, but the reason why I said what I said is because when you go abroad, that doesn't mean that your relationship with Top Rank necessarily stops. And what I was trying to insinuate is that Top Rank should take more promotional responsibility over Inoue's career, especially considering like when people talk about all the foreign money, they're only talking about viewership. They're not talking about raw profitability, because I guarantee that whatever he made with whatever that guy whose boxing debut was in a fucking prison, it's not more than what he's making in the United States. And I think if they prioritize the promotion of Inoue, especially giving him more fights in the States as opposed to him going back and fighting in the home country, then he would have better profile aside from a pound for pound list that's highly contentious. That's all I was saying. I understand that Top Rank doesn't supervise or create those events, but I am saying that just because you go abroad doesn't mean Top Rank doesn't, share some responsibility. It's sort of like if you're in Japan and you do something bad, it reflects upon everyone that you're contractually engaged with. I was coming at it from that perspective. I wasn't saying that, Top Rank had this event, because like Top Rank won the purse bid for Better Biev's fight, but like some other person in Canada handled the shit. So
Yeah, Ivan Michel. Yeah,
exactly. It's a situation. It's a situation like that. I'm not saying that Top Rank bid on Inoue's fight. All I was saying was that people are talking about Tank's pay-per-view numbers, but an individual out here that could be some sort of American phenom. I mean, even though he is Japanese, he could be a phenom in the United States. Top Rank got him over here doing whatever. He's over here in a split promotional deal with his domestic promoter, and it's with all due respect, he would be popular in Japan no matter where he fought. So having the domestic connection with the domestic promoter is like, I mean, outside of making sure the Japanese people can see you before they go to bed, it doesn't do a whole lot for Inoue. Like, it doesn't.
Right. We'll see. I think Top Rank lost interest with this whole pandemic because they didn't have the Asian gamblers anymore, and I think Bob Arum was really, for some reason, keen on Asian gamblers. But you're right. Yeah, for sure. Inoue will. That's why Inoue signed with a U.S. promoter, is to make more money. You know what I mean? So, it's the ball's being dropped there. I get it.
And I hope that PBC and DAZN, because I know that they currently own all the belts at 122. I hope that those fights can be made. I hope that there's no fuckery. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, with the way MJ looked in his last outing, I'm not sure if they're gonna rush to make put Inoue in a situation like to put him in a situation with Inoue. I don't think that they'll do that.
I don't think he's gonna fight anybody real, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, hopefully, they can make the Stephen Fulton situation. That'd be an interesting fight. That'd be a mega fight for both of them. Lots of money involved, especially if it's on if it's on a Showtime situation. So yeah, I hope when he does move up, because I know he's going to, because he's simply too big for the people down there. Because I think he's gonna. I'm pretty confident he's gonna knock out Donaire this time. I mean, I hope Donaire gets some lucky shit off, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, there's some good fights to be made at 122.
All right. No, I agree. And one thing I will agree, 122 is where we're gonna find out. See, I already think Inoue is pound for pound. I think 122 is gonna show us whether or not he's Hall of Fame all-time great material, because that's where the top fighters are. You got Stephen Fulton. He has to fight Stephen Fulton. He can't let Stephen Fulton go without fighting him. You got Aline. I know these are PBC cats, but you got Aline, Stephen Fulton, Daniel Roman. You got MJ. You got legit fighters there that you need to that will give him better action than anyone at 118 can. So I agree with that. Yeah, and maybe even 126. Maybe even 126. He talked about 126. We'll see if he goes to 126, but I think 126 will be his limit. I think that will be his absolute limit, but I don't think he'll be able to make it there. We'll see.
I mean, shit, 126. I mean, there's not 126 and 122 does not have a wide field of murderers like 140, for example. It's like the top 4 or 5 guys, and that's pretty much it. You can run roughshod through pretty much everybody. Like up there they got Brandon Figueroa, they got Navarrete, they got Abraham Nova, Ray Vargas. And then it's kind of hit or miss from there. I mean, they got that dude, Luis Alberto Lopez, who's been ruining people's careers lately. So we don't know what he's going to do. They got King Tug and Raymond Ford, but,
Yeah, and who knows if they're there by the time Inoue gets there, right?
Exactly. They could all be gone.
Change. Yeah, the landscape might be changing by the time Inoue decides to move up there. Because Navarrete, Ray Vargas, even Figueroa, they're big dudes. I don't know if Gary Russell's still going to be there. Probably not. He's probably
no. He better move up, because he's been wasting too much time at 126 if the bigger fights can't get made for him.
Yeah, Magzios, he seems like a big dude for that weight class, so he might move on too by the time he gets there. So, and I don't think Magzios is any good either. So whatever.
Yeah, if it's between fighting Inoue or moving up, he'll move up. Like, I personally think that one of the only reasons that Brandon Figueroa moved up was because Inoue was considering coming up there, because Inoue will stop Brandon Figueroa. He fights too goofy.
He fights too goofy.
He fights like Omar. It's true. Like he's better stylistically than Omar. Don't get me wrong. But when it came down to it, especially when it came to engaging in clinches, moving on the inside, trying to get body work in on Fulton, he turned into Omar, which is why he started getting tagged.
Yeah, I agree. No, I don't disagree. That's fine.
And it's sad. I was honestly disappointed. I was like, wow, I thought that they probably tried to keep you away from some of that because they saw the career direction, the direction that Omar's career took, and no, you fought the same. I was like, wow, that's actually disappointing to see, honestly. Because I liked Omar, especially after the Guerrero win. I was like, oh shit, Omar getting ready to do some damage. And then what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. I always felt Fulton was gonna be the guy to beat him. I think Cool Boy is a very versatile fighter. He can beat you in many ways.
Yeah, I like Fulton and everything, but I'll say this: if he fights, if he takes the Brandon Figueroa approach to Inoue, he'll get stopped to the body.
Yeah, he can. And I think he said it. He said it. He said he would box him more.
I would hope so, because
he would have to.
Because Fulton was pissing me off the way he was fighting Brandon Figueroa. As opposed to taking a half step back, using an active jab, and taking advantage of the openings that Figueroa created, trying to crowd him, he would fight him on the inside with him like he fought Leo. I was like, this is stupid. You could be winning this fight far easier. I don't understand why you're doing this.
All right. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting late over here. It's almost midnight over here. I don't know what time it is over there. Yeah, man. I just jumped on because I heard my name was being talked about, and like I said, man, people can always at me, DM me, whatever. Hit me up, and we can speak on it. We can meet up at fights. It's always good, man. I don't take Twitter seriously, man. I let my I talk my shit, and I forget about it until someone reminds me a day later or whatever. Yeah, it's not a big deal, really.
Yeah, for sure. Who? I'm just curious. Who messaged you?
Ah, man, I'm not gonna throw this person's name out like that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
No
Get,
snitching, man. People believe in that
get,
rat over here, man.
get father of the year and fucking Herb on here. That should be funny.
Father of the
Yeah, try to get them on here. They be acting like they're too good.
Look. Father of the year is a moron. He's an idiot.
He's a complete fucking idiot.
Irv is my guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Irv is my. You matter of fact, all right. I am gonna snitch on Irv because Irv is my guy, and I like to snitch on him. He did send a screenshot. I think of you, on a DM said where you said, "Oh, people are giving Chocolatito too much praise." For Mayweather and Hopkins and Mosley.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what I said. People are giving Chocolatito praise for fighting quote unquote elite, the top competition, in going into his late 30s because he's 35, and all I said was people are acting like Mayweather, Hopkins, and Mosley didn't do those things because they didn't get as much praise for doing that. You know, Mayweather is called a cherry picker to this day. People only make fun of Hopkins for fucking losing to Joe Smith Jr. and not remembering he beat a 26-year-old Kelly Pavlik, and fucking Mosley was fighting motherfuckers like Canelo when he was 40. So the reason why I said that was because the reaction Chocolatito is getting now for fighting an 18-1 Julio Cesar Martinez, who, with all due respect, outside of like Charlie Edwards and fucking like McWilliams Arroyo, who he was about to destroy, hasn't really put in that much work. Whereas the guys that Mosley, Hopkins, and fucking Mayweather were fighting were already fucking proven for the most part when they were over 35. That's what I was saying. So, and that's what I would have said on Twitter if you would have added me about it. I can't stand that, man. Motherfuckers will talk about me, but don't even at me so I can be in the comment. Like, fucking at me, so we can hash it out.
And it was a DM. It was a screenshot. It was a DM and a screenshot. But let me tell you something about him.
Pussy ass Irv.
Irv is my guy. He's an instigator. Okay.
You see what he said, man?
Irv would throw the rock and hide his hands and hope that you think the guy next to him threw it, just to see. Because he's an instigator. But like I told Irv when he sent me that, I'm like, yo, Hopkins is an all-time great. Mayweather's an all-time great. They did that damn thing. I would never say nothing negative about them because Hopkins fought until he was what, 49 years old. He was a world champion at age 47. Unheard of, right? Mayweather, $1 billion, 51-0, 51-0, $1 billion. Like, he came from the slums, right? What does he tell the story about? Like his dad holding him while a gun was being pointed at them or something like that. Like he came from a tough upbringing to make $1 billion and retire with his mentality intact and $1 billion, 50-0. I can't say nothing negative about Floyd. Mostly it's a Hall of Famer. What I told her was like, yeah, man. I mean, they were great. I think Chocolatito's a Hall of Famer as well, just like them. I think Roman Gonzalez, what Roman Gonzalez is doing is not impressive like them, but it is impressive in its own right, just different. Because when Roman Gonzalez got knocked out, people thought he was finished. People usually around this weight class at this age are not at this level. Now, we've seen it a little bit with Donaire, but, there are anomalies, right? Usually, they retire by this time. So I think what Roman is doing is impressive, but not Floyd, not Hopkins. It's just different.
Yeah,
it's not better. It's not. I don't think it's better. I don't think it's worse. I just think it's different.
Yeah, and I'll never deny that he's a Hall of Famer. But like I said, he's 34 right now, and people are talking about him like he's 38, 39, and doing it like he's 30. He's 34. Like him and fucking Regis Prograis are the same age. Like,
Yeah.
like
I just think people thought he was finished after the Rubenstein knockout.
People prematurely aged him, and I'm like, no, he's still like this is his final year of his prime, which is probably why he's trying to get all this smoke in because once he turns 35 and his testosterone drops off, significantly, then he'll start to slow down and probably have a few more fights and then retire, or potentially maybe move up one more weight class and pick off some little ones and then retire. But yeah, like he's 34. People like and I wasn't talking about like everyone in general. I was talking about the media. I was talking about the general media consensus on what is Roman Gonzalez's career right now and what he's doing. I'll never say that what he's doing isn't impressive, but all I was saying was that when the three people I named were in the same exact position and were actually significantly older and had already fought a litany of tough competition, they didn't get the same respect. I mean, fuck. Irv will talk about Floyd as a cherry picker and drug user now. So it's like, that's why it's hilarious coming from him, because he's the same dude that'll peddle some casual bullshit. And then I guarantee if he got up here and I called him out on it, he'd be like, oh, bro, I'm just playing. You know how I be playing. Nah, nigga, you say this shit like every week. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is. All right, but I gotta go. All right.
For sure.
See you later.
All right, have a good one.
Mm-hmm. Make some shirts, our man. His shirts, buddy, please.
Yeah, if anyway go up and actually cook some motherfuckers, you're gonna have to start making some anyway gear.
That's what I'm saying. Nigga, I gotta get up out of here. I gotta get some sleep.
All right, for sure. Thanks for having me on. This was fun. This was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. We're gonna run it back again. All right.
All right. Have a good night. Yeah. Later, chat.